Chapter 813. In the United Heart Palace. The maids left, and Ji Ming stood quietly beside the bed. He looked at the unconscious Hong Wulei with a pained expression on his face. Wulei had learned sword techniques from him for a while, so he could be considered half a disciple. Compared to Iner, Wulei had experienced more hardships, so he was more mature and worked very hard. He didn't say anything, but he saw it with his own eyes. Effort and reward weren't equal at all times. Wulei's life was relatively bumpy. This time, due to the Ji family's battle, he failed to break through to the corporeal realm. Although he managed to keep his life, the difficulty of breaking through to the corporeal realm next time was unimaginable. On the bed, Hong Wulei's pale face was covered in sweat. The true Yuan backlash after failing to break through to the corporeal realm brought great pain. She couldn't get rid of it even though she was unconscious. Ning Chen sat beside the bed and took a white towel soaked in water. After wringing it dry, he gently wiped the sweat off the girl's face. Perhaps it was because she felt the familiar aura of the person beside her, but the pain on her face eased a little. I really didn't expect the infamous little brother Ning to have such a gentle side. Outside the palace, Ji Wechu walked in and said, "Of course I would feel sorry for the girl I taught. This has nothing to do with reputation, so there shouldn't be anything to be curious about." Ning Chen didn't raise his head and continued to carefully wipe the girl's sweat. "Little brother Ning is right. Isn't the reason we work so hard to become stronger, so that the people around us won't be hurt?" Ji Wechu sighed and said, "Unfortunately, even though I'm the Ji family's sacred master, I still can't protect the people around me. This time, the Ji family suffered a disaster, and Yuqing lost her god bloodline. She's also unconscious now. As a father, I failed in my duty." "Who did it?" Ning Chen put the white towel in water and washed it. He then wrung it dry again and continued to wipe the girl in front of him. "Among the leaders that came, there's one that you recognize. It's the mysterious Di Mingtian, who appeared on the ancient path. As for the others, no one has seen them before. But from their auras and moves, they're from the Nether Hall," replied Ji Yuechu. "Di Mingtian Nether Hall." Ning Chen's hand paused, and he frowned slightly. How could they be related? He had fought with Di Mingtian several times, and he didn't feel the unique aura of the people from the Hall of the Underworld on him. "I'm not familiar with Di Mingtian. However, the Nether Hall is located at the edge of the Spirit Void, bordering the Hongwan Starfield. It's very far from my Ji family. Logically speaking, there shouldn't be any conflict of interest between them. It's truly strange for them to suddenly fall out with my Ji family," said Ji Yuechu. "It's probably because of the Ji clan's god bloodline. On the ancient starry sky path, Di Mingtian and his group attacked Miss Ji several times. This time, Miss Ji's bloodline was snatched away." "That's proof," Ning Chen replied. "Little brother Ning, you might not know this, but only the direct descendants of my Ji family can bear the power of a deity's bloodline. Even if someone else were to take it away, it would be useless. If the Nether Hall did not hesitate to pay any price to launch a sneak attack on my Ji family, just to take Yuqing's bloodline power, it really doesn't make sense," Ji Yuechu said in a grave tone. "Maybe the answer isn't with Nether Hall." Ning Chen thought for a moment and said, "If Nether Hall wanted to snatch Ji family's bloodline power, they wouldn't have waited until today. The real reason should be with Di Mingtian. As long as we find out his identity, the answer might be clear." Hearing this, Ji Yuechu's eyes narrowed. A moment later he nodded and said, "Little brother Ning's words make sense. Yuqing said that you're an extremely smart person. She was right." "Sacred Lord, you're too kind." Ning Chen said calmly, "Sacred Lord, since you asked me to stay, you should have other things to discuss, right?" Ji Yuechu nodded and said with a serious expression, "Yuqing's bloodline power must be taken back. Otherwise, her life will be completely ruined. I hope little brother Ning can see that you're friends with my daughter and help us this time." "Sacred Lord, you want to attack Nether Hall?" Ning Chen asked. "That's right." Ji Yuechu nodded and said, "Whether it's for public or private reasons, it's impossible for Ji family to take this lying down. However, Nether Hall used to be one of the strongest palaces in the world. Even though they've lost a lot of their sharpness over the years, Their background is still hard to estimate. Ji family's top combat strength isn't enough. I hope little brother Ning can help us. Speaking of this, Ji Yuechu paused for a moment and said, I will personally go to Phoenix Cry Palace to invite Prince Qi. The death of Beiqi's high priest is likely the work of Nether Hall and Di Mingtian. Sacred Lord, there's no need to make this trip in vain. Prince Qi won't agree, Ningchen replied. Ji Yuechu was startled and puzzled. Why? Doesn't Prince Qi want to avenge Beiqi's high priest? It's not convenient for me to reveal the specific reason. Sacred Lord can send someone to send a letter and see if what I said is true, Ningchen said casually. Hearing this, Ji Yuechu frowned. This really wasn't good news. Prince Qi's strength was extraordinary. He rarely met a worthy opponent in the Third Realm. Without him, their combat strength would be even more lacking. Forgive me for speaking bluntly, but the Ji family should still have some hidden trump cards that haven't been revealed to the world. Sacred Lord, you can consider using them, Ningchen said. Ji Yuechu regained her senses and shook her head. I won't hide it from you. The Ji family does indeed have these hidden trump cards. However, the reason they are called hidden trump cards is because they cannot be easily activated. Unless it's a life or death situation, even the Ji family's sacred lord has no right to use them. That's a pity, Ningchen said regretfully. Holy Master, please forgive me. There's a lady by my side called Murong who is now deeply poisoned. I have to stay and accompany her. I can't run around anymore. I don't want to see her for the last time when I return. Ji Yuechu frowned. What kind of poison is it? You have phoenix essence. Can't you cure it? Yellow Springs pill. The poison has entered the organs. I can't do anything about it, Ningchen sighed. Hearing this, Ji Yuechu fell silent. There was no antidote for the Yellow Springs pill. Those who were poisoned were destined to enter the Yellow Springs. Sacred Lord, I want to take Wulei away. I hope Sacred Lord won't stop me. Ningchen shifted his gaze to the person in front of him and said seriously. Ji Yuechu nodded. It's indeed better for Miss Wulei to stay in the Ji family. However, since little brother Ning insists on taking her away, I won't stop you. Thank you, Sacred Lord. I will remember the Ji family's care for Wulei and Ruashi. It's getting late, so I'll take my leave first. Ningchen replied. He extended his hand and carefully picked up the girl on the bed. Soon after, he walked out of the hall. Outside the United Heart Hall, the Ji family's guards tensed up when they saw the red-robed young man walking out. Ningchen walked past the guards. His expression was calm, without the slightest fluctuation. Inside the United Heart Hall, Ji Yuechu walked out and looked at the figure in front of her. Sacred Lord, are we going to let him take her away just like that? An old figure appeared and asked. Ji Yuechu's eyes flashed. This child's strength and wisdom are unfathomable. Since he dares to come to the Ji family, he must be prepared. If he doesn't want to help, it's useless even if we force Hong Wulei to stay. It's not worth it to threaten him with this matter. What do we do about Yuqing? Nether Hall isn't easy to provoke. With the current strength of my Ji family, it will be difficult for us to go to Nether Hall and force them to hand over Yuqing's bloodline strength. The old man worriedly said. Nether Hall. Ji Yuechu's eyes flashed with a cold light. They had to take back Yuqing's bloodline strength. It seemed that they would have to give up a portion of the benefits and drive the tiger to swallow the wolf. Immediately send a message to the pavilion masters of Qilin Pavilion and Heaven Mending Pavilion. Tell them that I have something to discuss with them. Ji Yuechu said. The old man was shocked. Sacred Lord, I'm afraid. There's no need to say anything. Just do as I say. Ji Yuechu lightly said. Yes. The old man was helpless. He respectfully accepted the order. Phoenix Cry Palace. In a courtyard on the west side, Ning Chun returned with Hong Wulei. Qing Ning had been waiting for a long time. As she saw the pale face of the girl in Ning Chen's arms, her expression changed. How are Wulei's injuries? Qing Ning worriedly asked. Her life isn't in danger, but her injuries are heavy. She will need a long time to rest. Ning Chen replied. Will it affect her in the future? Qing Ning worriedly asked. Ning Chen sighed. He nodded. If there aren't any special circumstances, then Wulei might never be able to step into the corporeal realm in her life. Qing Ning's body shook, and a trace of sadness flashed in her eyes. Wulei's efforts were no less than anyone else's. It would be difficult for her to accept such a result when she woke up. Bring Wulei into the room first, Qing Ning softly said. Ningchen nodded. He held the girl in his arms and walked into a nearby room. Inside the room, Ningchen placed Wulei down. He looked at Qing Ning and asked, "Where are Murong and Ruoxi?" The two of them went out to buy medicinal herbs. Murong is skilled in alchemy. Although she has lost her cultivation, her understanding of medicinal properties is still incomparable to that of an ordinary person. Wulei has failed in breaking into the corporeal realm, so she will need medicinal herbs to help her. Qing Ning replied. Ningchen nodded. He looked at the unconscious girl on the bed and sighed inwardly. Truly, fortune never came in pairs and misfortune never came alone. Murong's matter had already left him feeling powerless, and now something had happened to Hong Wulei. Ningchen, do you still have a chance to recover your two bodies? Qing Ning asked. Ningchen thought for a moment and said, My demonic body might be able to. As long as there's enough demonic energy to stimulate it, there should be a chance. As for my main body, I don't have any good methods for the time being. The immortal tree needs too much spiritual energy to recover. If my main body wants to recover, it's almost impossible in a short period of time. Back then, the immortal peach tree had only been able to bloom and bear fruit within 100 years because of the Jade Lake's water and the time restriction. Now that the Jade Lake's water had been used up and the main body was unconscious, it couldn't cultivate on its own. Qing Ning gently nodded and said, Once the matter here is resolved, we should try our best to recover the demonic body. Then we can find a way to recover the main body. Just as the two of them were conversing, the void in the Ji clan's sacred hall churned, and two illusory figures walked out. Powerful auras covered the sky and earth. Even though it was just an illusion, it still made people feel extremely pressured. Holy Lord of the Ji family, why have you invited us here? Qilin Pavilion Master asked. Chapter 814. Within the Ji family's sacred hall, the sect masters of the two pavilions and one faction were gathered. The entire hall was filled with an abnormally powerful aura. The two of you should be able to guess why I invited the two of you here. With the revival of Nether Hall, I hope that the Qilin Pavilion and Heaven Mending Pavilion can once again conquer Nether Hall with my Ji family. Ji Yuechu looked at the two illusory figures floating in the air. Oh, conquer Nether Hall? Sacred Master must be joking. In these years, my Qilin Pavilion and Nether Hall have never had any conflicts. Why would we take the initiative to provoke this sleeping lion? Qilin Pavilion Master, you're right. The Heaven Mending Pavilion Master said coldly. No one knows how much strength Nether Hall still has. Why would we take the initiative to provoke them? Moreover, Nether Hall is in Spirit Void, and my Heaven Mending Pavilion is in Hongwan Star Field. Well water doesn't interfere with river water, so we won't get involved in this mess. Do the two pavilion masters really think that Nether Hall will always be content with their lot? Since Nether Hall has already revived, Heaven Mending Pavilion and Qilin Pavilion are very likely to be the next Ji family. The two of you should know Nether Hall's ambition. Spirit Void and Hongwan Star Fields are adjacent, and Nether Hall is in between. The best choice is to join hands to gain the initiative, said Ji Yuechu. Sacred Master's words are incorrect. Nether Hall was once the strongest, but it is definitely not at its peak. It is impossible for them to provoke us at the same time. We are deeply regretful that the Ji family suffered this time. However, let's not talk about joining hands, said the Qilin Pavilion Master calmly. Sacred Master, please forgive us. My Heaven Mending Pavilion is also unable to help, said the Heaven Mending Pavilion Master. The Ji family is willing to give up 10% of the West Ridge Spirit Mine, said Ji Yuechu. Oh! The Qilin Pavilion Master and Heaven Mending Pavilion Master's eyes flashed. The West Ridge Spirit Mine was the Ji family's most important mine. 1 late-stage true realm, 2 early-stage true realm, no more, said the Qilin Pavilion Master. My Heaven Mending Pavilion is the same, said the Heaven Mending Pavilion Master. 2 late-stage true realm, and 2 early-stage true realm, said Ji Yuechu. Impossible. The Qilin Pavilion Master directly refused. The Sacred Master's request is too high. 2 more early True Realm experts are fine. And at most 1 late True Realm expert. On the side, the Heaven Mending Pavilion Master nodded and said, Sacred Master should understand just how precious a late-stage True Realm expert is. Even we cannot invite just anyone. 1 is already our limit. And our Heaven Mending Pavilion can add 2 more early-stage True Realm experts. This is our bottom line. Sacred Master should consider it carefully. Ji Yuechu's eyes narrowed slightly and said, Deal. Our pavilion will send people over soon. I hope that Holy Master can keep your promise. While talking, the Qilin Pavilion Master's figure gradually faded away. In a blink of an eye he disappeared. After the Qilin Pavilion Master left, the Heaven Mending Pavilion Master looked at the person in front of him and said, Sacred Master, I have something to ask. Please tell me. Pavilion Master, please speak, Ji Yuechu replied. Not long ago, 3 women entered the Spirit Void Star region. One of them is a traitor of the Weed sect. She took a Yellow Springs pill, and should have lost all her cultivation. As for the other 2, one is at the corporeal realm, and the other is at the illusory realm. In addition, they also brought an unconscious youth with them. I wonder if the Sacred Master has heard of this? Ji Yuechu's eyes flashed with a strange light. He shook his head and said, I haven't heard of it. The Heaven Mending Pavilion Master nodded. Then I asked the Sacred Master to look for them. If you can find them, my Heaven Mending Pavilion will definitely thank you. Pavilion Master is too polite. I will try my best. Ji Yuechu smiled. Many thanks. After saying this, the Heaven Mending Pavilion Master's figure gradually faded away, vanishing from the Ji family's temple. Traitor of the Weed sect Ho. A hint of a smile flashed across the corners of Ji Yuechu's mouth. So there were still these things in between. Men, what orders does the Sacred Master have? A Ji family disciple walked into the hall and bowed. Ji Yuechu waved his hand, and a letter flew from the table in the hall into the disciple's hand. Tomorrow morning, send this letter to Phoenix Cry Palace. Yes. The Ji family disciple respectfully bowed and left. Phoenix Cry City, within the royal palace. Prince Qi was in seclusion, healing his wounds with all his strength. In the western courtyard, Ning Chun was sitting in a pavilion playing chess with Morong. To the side, Ener was nervously helping. After 1 round, the black pieces were in complete chaos. Sir, you lost again. After a piece fell, Morong looked up at the person in front of her and smiled. Ning Chun, you're too stupid. You didn't even win a single one of the last 3 rounds. Ener muttered from the side. Didn't you help me move a lot of pieces? You still have the nerve to call me stupid. Ning Chun snappily said. If I didn't help you, you would have lost even faster. Ener retorted. What did Sir lose again? Ruashi walked in from outside the pavilion. As she saw the 2 of them bickering, she chuckled. He lost 3 rounds in a row. Ener complained. Ruashi smiled. Sir isn't good at chess to begin with. Morong is also so fierce, so of course he lost. It's Sir who didn't play seriously with me. Morong chuckled. Playing chess was a test of one's eyesight and mind. These were Sir's strengths. It was just that he didn't want to play seriously. Of course, there was also Ener, this girl. It was hard not to lose. As soon as she finished speaking, Morong's face suddenly paled. Without any warning, she vomited a mouthful of blood, staining the chessboard. Ning Chen's eyes narrowed. He raised his hand and grabbed the former's arm. A vast amount of Phoenix Chi poured into her body, suppressing the Yellow Springs poison that erupted again. Half a quarter of an hour later, Morong tiredly opened her eyes and smiled weakly. I'm fine. I'll help you back to rest. Ning Chen stepped forward and helped her up. Then, he walked towards a room not far away. In the room, Ning Chen helped Morong lie down on the bed and covered her with a quilt. With a gentle smile on his face, he said, Rest well for a while. Maybe you're too tired. Morong gently nodded. Then, she closed her eyes and prepared to rest. Ning Chen sat on the edge of the bed and watched as the woman's breathing gradually stabilized, and she fell into a deep sleep. After another quarter of an hour, he got up and walked out of the room. How is Murong? Outside the room, Wuxia was anxiously waiting. When she saw the former walk out, she asked anxiously. Ning Chen sighed softly. At most, she has 10 days left. Wuxia's expression shook. Her eyes flashed with sadness. Not far away, Ina heard this. Her always cheerful little face also became sad. Young Master Ning, Miss Yunji asks for you. At this moment, outside the small courtyard, a maid came and respectfully said. Ning Chen recovered and nodded. I'll go over now. Is something the matter? Wuxia asked worriedly. It should be about the Ji family. You take care of Murong. I'll be back soon. Ning Chen exhorted, and immediately walked out of the courtyard. Phoenix Cry Palace. Concubine Yun looked at the invitation on the table with some worry in her eyes. Miss Yunji. Ning Chen entered the palace and politely asked. What's the matter? Concubine Yun handed over the invitation on the table and said. The Ji family's holy lord is here. Ning Chen took the invitation. After reading it, his brows slightly wrinkled. Young Master Ning, before His Highness went into seclusion, he said that regarding the Ji family and the Qilin Pavilion, Concubine Yin can discuss this matter with young Master Ning. I wonder what young Master Ning thinks of this letter sent by the Ji family's holy master? It's very troublesome. Ning Chen said truthfully. I've already told the Ji family's holy lord that Prince Qi won't intervene in the battle between the Ji family and the Hall of the Dead. I didn't expect him to personally make a trip. The matter of His Highness' injury cannot be exposed. I ask young master to conceal it for me. Concubine Yun bowed and requested. I understand. Miss Yunji, please find a way to hide the matter of Prince Qi's absence. The Ji family's holy lord is not an ordinary person. It's not easy to deceive him. Ning Chen said. Concubine Yun nodded. Rest assured, young master, I will take care of this matter. Miss Yunji, please continue with your work. Murong's body is unwell, so I must return. Ning Chen said, and didn't stay any longer. He turned and left. Murong was sleeping in a room in the western courtyard. The Yellow Springs poison had erupted again and again, tormenting this pitiful woman. If it weren't for her yearning for this hard-won warmth, she might not have been able to endure it. Outside the room, the sky gradually darkened. Ning Chen stood in the courtyard, looking at the cold moon in the sky. A trace of confusion flashed through his eyes. This isn't your fault. Don't blame yourself. At some point, Qing Ning had appeared behind him. She saved me, but I couldn't save her. Ning Chen sighed deeply, feeling powerless. In this world, most things don't go your way. You've already done your best, but you can't save everyone. Even the immortal peach tree has been destroyed. This is the will of the heavens. Don't make things difficult for yourself, said Qing Ning softly. The will of the heavens. Ning Chen looked at the horizon silent. He had struggled with the heavens his entire life, but in the end he had lost far too much. After accompanying Murong on this journey, you should go and find a way to restore your 2 bodies. Your 3 bodies are bound together for good or ill, especially your main body. If something happens to it, your life will be in danger. You can't let this matter drag on forever. Don't let Miss Murong's painstaking efforts go to waste, Qing Ning said seriously. Ning Chen nodded, silently agreeing. The cold night gradually passed. As the first rays of dawn sprinkled down on the earth, a blue-white clothed middle-aged man appeared in Phoenix Cry City. A powerful pressure spread out from him, making it so that no one dared to approach. The Ji family's holy lord personally arrived at Phoenix Cry City, shocking countless powerhouses within the city. Phoenix Cry Palace. Concubine Yun stood in the grand hall, quietly waiting. In front of the hall, a guard quickly walked in. He respectfully bowed and reported that the Ji family's holy lord had arrived. Concubine Yun's pupil shrank. She said, "Please enter." Not long after, a blue-white figure appeared outside Phoenix Cry Palace. After several steps, he arrived in the grand hall. "The Holy Lord has graced us with your presence. Please forgive me for not coming out to welcome you." Concubine Yun smiled as she saw the newcomer. "Miss Yun is too polite." Ji Yuechu swept her eyes over the grand hall. She calmly said, "Why don't I see His Highness Prince Qi? His Highness has recently gained some enlightenment in his cultivation, and is currently in seclusion." He is unable to personally receive the Holy Lord. I apologize. Concubine Yin replied. Oh. Ji Yuechu's eyes narrowed. That was far too unfortunate. Reporting to Miss Yin, Sir Ning requests an audience. At this time, a maid walked in from outside the hall and reported. Invite him in. Concubine Yin said. Yes. The maid nodded and left. Chapter 8:15. At Phoenix Cry Palace, the Ji family's holy master personally came, followed by Knowing Destiny. Concubine Yun looked at the two of them and ordered someone to serve them tea. Marquis is in seclusion. It seems I came at a bad time, Ji Yuechu said. Her Highness has comprehended something during her cultivation, so she decided to go into seclusion, Concubine Yun explained. Little brother Ning did remind me, but I didn't think Monarch Qi would be in seclusion. What a pity. Ji Yuechu regretfully said. Across from him, Ningchen picked up a cup of tea and took a sip, not saying anything. This excuse wasn't too clever, but it was enough. At the very least, with him sitting here, this Ji family's holy master wouldn't easily make things difficult for him. Did Monarch Qi say when she will leave seclusion? Ji Yuechu asked. At least a month, at most a year, Concubine Yin replied. Ji Yuechu frowned. He glanced at the young man across from him who hadn't spoken yet. He couldn't help but dispel this thought. Although he didn't want to admit it, this young man from the same generation as his daughter already had the strength to contend with old fellows like them. He wasn't willing to make such a person his enemy. Little brother Ning, please reconsider the matter I mentioned to you before. My Ji family will definitely remember this favor, Ji Yuechu said once more. Holy Master, I understand your feelings as a father wanting to save your daughter. But if the Ji family doesn't use their hidden strength, then even if I agree to help, it will be difficult to take back Miss Ji's god bloodline, Ningchen replied. What if my Ji family's current strength is combined with the help of Qilin Pavilion and Heaven Mending Pavilion? Ji Yuechu seriously asked. Oh. A strange light flashed in Ningchen's eyes. Holy Master, please tell me. Qilin Pavilion and Heaven Mending Pavilion have both agreed to send 1 late True Realm and 4 early True Realm Masters to help. If little brother Ning also agrees to help, then I have a 90% chance of taking back Yuqing's bloodline strength, Ji Yuechu earnestly said. Ningchen fell silent. He looked at the tea leaves floating in his cup and didn't reply. Little brother Ning, that Miss Morong should come from Red Luan Star Region's Ingui sect, right? Ji Yuechu asked. Ning Chen's hand paused for a moment before he calmed down and said, It seems that the sacred master already knows. Ji Yuechu nodded and said, When Heaven Mending Pavilion Master mentioned the girls by your side, I already guessed that it was you and deliberately concealed this matter. Little brother Ning, I am not saying this to threaten you. I just want to say that Ji family is willing to become friends with you. I hope little brother Ning can also help my daughter this time. Ningchen sighed softly and asked, When? 5 days, Ji Yuechu said. Ningchen shook his head and said, Wait for another 5 days. 10 days later, I will do my best to help Sacred Master take back Miss Ji's bloodline power. 10 days. Hearing this, Ji Yuechu frowned slightly. After weighing the pros and cons for a moment, he nodded and said, All right, this seat will wait until 10 days later. Little brother Ning, 10 days later, this seat will be waiting for your arrival at the Ji family. Definitely, Ningchen nodded. Then I'll take my leave first. Miss Yin, please send my regards to His Highness Prince Qi. Sorry for the disturbance. Ji Yuechu stood up, his gaze shifted to the woman not far away, and said politely, Concubine Yin will pass on Sacred Master's words. Take care, Sacred Master. Concubine Yin stood up and walked forward to see him off. Ji Yuechu nodded, and didn't stay any longer. He turned and walked out of the hall. Concubine Yin saw him out of the hall, and watched him leave. After a moment, she looked back at the young figure in the hall and said, Young Master Ning, are you really going to help Ji family attack Nether Hall? Yes. Ningchen nodded and said, When I first came to Hongwuan Star Region, I already had a grudge with Nether Hall. Even if I don't go looking for them, they will come looking for me sooner or later. Then young Master Ning must be careful. I once heard His Highness mention that Netherhall's strength was once at the peak of many inheritances in ancient times. Aside from the underworld, no one can compare to them. Although they have declined now, no one knows how much strength this colossus still has. Concubine Yin reminded him seriously. I will be careful. Thank you for your reminder, Concubine Yin, replied Ningchen. Concubine Yin walked to the throne and took out a simple and beautiful sword. She softly said, This is His Highness Phoenix Cry Sword. His Highness said that if you encounter a powerful enemy, I should lend this sword to you. Young Master possesses a phoenix origin, and with this Phoenix Cry Sword, your strength will rise to another level. Ningchen looked at the sword in her hand. A moment later he reached out and took it. Thank you. The sword was 3 inches long, and red clouds filled the sky. Ningchen's eyes flashed with a strange light, and his phoenix origin surged. Concubine Yin was astonished. What a powerful aura. Returning the sword to its sheath, Ningchen's aura gradually withdrew. He nodded and left the hall. Watching his figure gradually disappear into the distance, Concubine Yin sighed inwardly. Ever since they had first met, she hadn't been able to see through him. Whether it was his strength or his thoughts, he seemed to be hidden in a fog. Perhaps only those women by his side could understand him. In the western courtyard, Ningchen took out the Phoenix Cry Sword and handed it to Qing Ning. This is the Phoenix Cry Sword that His Highness Prince Qi asked Concubine Yin to lend me. You agreed to Ji family's Holy Lord's request? Qing Ning took the sword and asked. N. Ningchen nodded. After all, Miss Ji has taken care of Ruashi and Wulei. In addition to the enmity between me and Nether Hall, I will settle it once and for all. Qing Ning was silent for a moment. Then she nodded. If you agree, then so be it. 10 days later, Ruashi and I will take Wulei back to the central province. That girl's injuries require a long period of recuperation. It's not suitable for her to stay in Qi Palace. Take Yiner with you. She hasn't been back for a long time. Senior Sword Master and Yiner's mother must miss her very much. Ningchen whispered. All right, but that girl has a wild temper and can't stay idle. I estimate that she will come looking for you within a few days after returning home. Qing Ning helplessly said. If she wants to come back, then let her come by herself. She has the sword techniques I left on her, and the Western King hairpin. As long as she doesn't encounter too strong an enemy, her life shouldn't be in danger. Ningchen replied. Qing Ning gently nodded. A trace of gentleness appeared on her face. When you first took her in, she was just a little girl who lazed around in bed. I didn't expect her cultivation to be higher than yours now. Time really flies. Yiner's talent is good and her mind is pure. It's not surprising that her cultivation is fast. If Senior Heaven Speaker's gift awakens in the future, I might not be able to beat her. Ningchen sighed. Qing Ning smiled. At that time, no one will be able to control her. As her master, you must work hard. Don't let her surpass you. If she surpasses me, then so be it. Ningchen smiled lightly and said, As a teacher, don't I hope that my disciple can surpass my master? If Yiner can really surpass me one day and her name shakes the world, I, as her master, will also feel proud. Young Lord Morong is awake. Not far away. The door opened and Ruashi walked in. Go spend more time with her, Qing Ning said softly. Ningchen nodded and walked towards the room in front. Sister Qing Ning, Ruashi called out. Her eyes unconsciously filled with tears. Her sadness was difficult to suppress. Qing Ning sighed. Ruashi, this is something that no one can change. Morong understands, Ningchen also understands. Morong chose freedom back then. At least she didn't regret it. Ruashi clenched her delicate hands. Her tears were filled with hatred. In Guizhong and Butian Pavilion, in order to maintain the so-called alliance, did not hesitate to sacrifice an innocent woman. It was really hateful. In a room not far away, Ningchen sat on the edge of the bed and looked at the woman who had just woken up. With a gentle expression he asked, How do you feel? A lot better. Morong smiled weakly and replied, Sleep a little more. More rest is good for your body. Ningchen whispered, I don't want to sleep anymore. I've been in the room for too long. It's a bit stuffy. Can you help me up? I want to go out for a walk. Morong looked at the scenery outside the window. Ningchen gently nodded. He stepped forward and carefully helped her up. His movements were so gentle that it was as if he were worried he would break a porcelain doll in his arms. Morong stood up and walked out of the room with the help of the people around her. Phoenix Cry Palace in autumn was exceptionally beautiful. Maple leaves fluttered in the air, a fiery red color that was intoxicating. Morong looked at the maple leaves in the courtyard, a brilliant smile on her face. In this life, she had missed out on far too many opportunities. She never imagined that in these last days, she would once again obtain a happiness that she had never dared to hope for. 10 suns gradually passed under the falling red maple leaves. During these 10 days, Ningchen never left Morong's side. He accompanied her day and night, watching over her day and night. The yellow springs swallowed her body, and the poison spread throughout her body. Morong's beautiful eyes gradually lost their brilliance. She couldn't see the maple leaves, nor could she see the setting sun. However, with the company of the people around her, Morong always had a smile on her face. "Sir, you must remember me." As her voice fell, Morong leaned against the shoulder of the person beside her and fell asleep forever. Her face carried a trace of satisfaction, a trace of reluctance, and a trace of no regrets. Ningchen quietly sat there, no longer a trace of emotion in his eyes. Perhaps the pain was too deep, and he no longer knew what pain was. Behind him, Ruoshi trembled as she turned around. Her tears dripped down, soaking her clothes. To the side, Qing Ning's expression darkened. Was this the will of the heavens? If they couldn't resist the heavens, if they couldn't defy their fate, then what was the point of cultivating? A cold wind blew past, causing the red maple leaves to flutter in the air. Ningchen stood up, picked up the woman beside him, and walked forward. He softly said, "Sister Qing Ning, help me bury Morong. The time I agreed upon with the Ji family is approaching. I must leave." Qing Ning nodded. She took out the Phoenix Cry sword and handed it to the person in front of her. She said, "Be careful." Ningchen lightly nodded. He took the Phoenix Cry sword and without another word, walked out of the courtyard. Looking at the departing back of the young master, Ruoshi's eyes flashed with sadness. Why was it that this time she couldn't feel any fluctuations in the young master's emotions? Did the young master really not feel any pain? Outside the Phoenix Cry city, the red figure walking forward had a terrifyingly calm expression. Every step was steady, without the slightest ripple. After a few breaths, the red figure walked far away. Behind him, where knowing destiny walked, the ground suddenly rumbled and shook. Cracks crisscrossed, reaching thousands of feet away. Chapter 8:16. In front of the Ji family's sacred palace, many venerables were gathered, waiting for someone to come. Soon, Hongyi appeared with Phoenix Cry in her hand. She walked in front of everyone. "Let's go." Ningchen looked at the Ji family's sacred master and said, "Okay." Ji Wechu nodded. He looked at the venerables behind him and ordered, "Let's go." With that order, war chariots rose into the sky one after another. Their terrifying auras covered the sky, shocking everyone. On the leading war chariot, the Ji family's sacred master stood quietly. He was personally going to the forbidden land of Absolute, beginning to suppress the Hall of the Dead. On both sides of the Ji family's sacred master, there were 2 war chariots of almost the same size. Several venerables from the Qilin Pavilion and the Heaven Mending Pavilion stood on them. Their auras were shocking, far surpassing the experts who walked in the mortal world. Not far away, Hongyi stood alone on a strange bronze war chariot. Her expression was as calm as a lake, without any changes. In the clear sky, the war chariots quickly left, disappearing from the sky above White Emperor City. At the end of the Spirit Void Starfield, at the border with the Red Phoenix Starfield, fog lingered. The forbidden land of absolute beginning, the famous forbidden land of the mortal world, was deathly silent. In the depths of the forbidden land, a gloomy and majestic palace stood quietly. A terrifying and heavy pressure was constantly emitted from the depths of the palace, causing people to feel fear. At this moment, thunder rumbled in the sky. War chariots drove over. The three armies had joined forces to attack the Hall of the Dead. I've been waiting for you for a long time. As he spoke, black fog lingered in front of the Hall of the Dead. Many figures walked out. The leader was wearing black armor. His aura was gloomy and majestic, not any weaker than the Ji family's sacred master, Emo Luotian. Looking at the leader, Ji Yuechu's expression sank as he said coldly, "Since everyone came here to die, I'll fulfill your wish." Emo Luotian looked at the people on the war chariot and said indifferently, "It's not certain who will live and who will die. Emo Luotian, hand over Yu Qing's god bloodline. Otherwise, we'll flatten your Hall of the Dead again," said Ji Yuechu. Ji Clan's sacred master Ji Yuechu, Qilin Pavilion's supreme head Lin Xiaohan, Heaven Mending Pavilion's martial head Qi Wenju. I am not mistaken, am I? As he spoke, two more people walked out of the black fog and stood at the two ends. One of them was clad in green armor and had a heavy and domineering aura. The other was clad in bright silver divine robes. His face was grave and stern, and his temperament was noble and extraordinary. He was unforgettable. There's more. Di Mingtian shifted his gaze and looked at the red-robed figure on the right. Ninth son of Emo Gate, we meet again. A strange look flashed across Lin Xiaohan's and Qi Wenju's eyes when they heard this. Soon after, they suppressed the waves in their hearts. Their current enemy was the Nether Hall. Everything else could be dealt with later. It is a pity that I was unable to kill you in the ancient battlefield. Ning Chen looked at the young man in silver before him and said indifferently, "You failed to grasp the best opportunity. Now, it's time for me to send you on your way," said Di Mingtian calmly. "So your highness has an old grudge with this person. Why don't you go somewhere else to settle it? Leave this place to us," Emo Luotian suggested. "That's fine." Di Mingtian nodded. He looked at the young man in red and asked, "What do you think?" "As you wish." Ning Chen's figure descended and waved his hand to put away the bronze chariot. He then walked away. Di Mingtian followed behind and disappeared from everyone's sight. "Sacred Master, is it all right to let young Master Ning face Di Mingtian alone?" asked a grand elder from the Ji family worriedly from the chariot. A few days ago, when the Nether Hall had attacked the Ji family, Di Mingtian's strength was obvious to all. He was not inferior to the Hall Master of the Nether Hall. He was an extremely terrifying figure. "It should be fine." Ji Yuechu looked at the two figures disappearing and said gravely, "This ninth son of Emo Gate was also unfathomable. No one could see his true bottom line." "Are you all done?" Outside the Nether Hall, Emo Luotian waved his hand. Black fog surged behind him, and thousands of black figures appeared. Iron chains crisscrossed, sealing the sky and earth. "Kill them all!" With a command, the black figures rushed out and surrounded the Ji family and the two pavilions' allied forces. A great battle was about to erupt. Ji Yuechu's expression turned cold. He waved his right hand and said, "Kill." As soon as he said that, the chariot rumbled and streaked across the sky. The battle had begun. In an instant, killing lights flashed. Heaven and earth shook. The sounds of battle were deafening, and the wind howled. In the distance, Hong Yi and Shen Yi. One was as calm as water, while the other was as cold as ice. It was as if they were fated to fight again. The two of them were not too anxious because they knew that the person in front of them was more dangerous than any other opponent. "Ninth son of Emo Gate, what exactly do you want? Power or longevity?" Di Mingtian looked at the person before him and asked seriously. Ning Chen shook his head lightly and said, "I don't need either. You and I don't need to be enemies. As long as you agree to come to my side, I am willing to let go of the past grudges. I can even let you become an existence that is second only to one person in the Nether Hall. At that time, no one can stop you from doing whatever you want," said Di Mingtian. Ning Chen shook his head again. He held the Phoenix Cry sword horizontally and said, "Thank you for your appreciation. People of different paths cannot make plans together. Let's begin." Stubborn. Di Mingtian's expression turned cold. He waved his right hand, and a silver light flashed. A strange-looking silver halberd appeared. The moment the divine weapon appeared, the wind and snow started to blow, and the frozen ground turned into frost. Looking at the divine weapon in Di Mingtian's hand, Ning Chen's expression turned serious. He held the hilt and slowly pulled out the Phoenix Cry sword. When the divine sword was unsheathed, the Phoenix Cry of the 9 heavens lit up the sky. A phoenix appeared and danced around knowing destiny. Phoenix Cry sword? Prince Qi Lin Yuzhen's sword. Seeing this, Di Mingtian's eyes flashed. It was strange that Prince Qi of Phoenix Cry City would lend his sword to someone else. There was no time to think. In an instant, Hong Yi appeared in front of Di Mingtian. The Phoenix Cry slashed down. Di Mingtian's expression darkened. He waved his silver halberd and blocked the sword light. The divine weapons clashed. It was a shocking scene. Frost rose and fell. The ground under them kept collapsing. Waves of dust surged. After not seeing you for so many years, your improvement has disappointed me. Di Mingtian snorted coldly. He turned his palm and condensed Yuan Qi. A powerful and domineering palm swept out. Your strength also doesn't pique my interest. Ning Chen stepped forward and dodged the palm. Phoenix fire surged on his sword and slashed down. The silver halberd and divine sword clashed again. Flames and frost mixed. Their moves were ruthless. Their words were even more merciless. They disrupted each other's state of mind. The intense battle shocked everyone. At their level, every move had the power to burn the sky and boil the sea. This was a battle at the peak. Forbidden Dark Seal, Light of Heaven. After exchanging a few moves, Di Mingtian's heavenly fate turned into true yuan. Boundless pressure swept out. Above the 9 heavens, dazzling light and shocking killing intent descended. The heavenly light punished the world. Ning Chen stepped forward. Phoenix fire rose on his sword. He turned into a fire phoenix and soared into the sky, facing the heavenly light head-on. The two powers collided. The aftershocks pressed down, splitting the sky and the earth. Halberd light sword cries, and the sun and moon shook. The space between the two kept collapsing. Ice melted, snow melted, and waves of fire dissipated. Sword technique extreme heaven. Ning Chen held his sword horizontally. Instantly the sword's might soared. The extreme martial technique reflected the stars. The phoenix cried out. Dazzling red light fell like a heavenly river, stunning the world. Di Mingtian's eyes narrowed. He flipped his palm and gathered origin energy. The scene of the sun and moon being destroyed appeared again. The stars collapsed and met the falling heavenly river. Extreme Daos and laws collided. Shocking power surged. The aftershocks swept out for thousands of miles. Heaven and earth fell. The two unfathomable people were still holding back. The world around them was already broken. The laws collapsed and affected the power of space, forming terrifying gullies. You were invited by the Ji clan. Are you not going to use your full strength? Di Mingtian looked at the person in front of him and asked calmly. Ning Chen looked at the battle in the distance, which was also difficult to determine. His aura rose again. That's what I was thinking. As soon as he said that, Ning Chen's body glowed with red light. The 4 symbols' origins were activated. The phoenix returned to its ancestor and entered the divine realm. Ning Chen's long hair that had turned from black to red fluttered in the wind. His figure moved again at an extremely fast speed. This time, even his afterimage could not be seen. Feeling the former's strength rising again, Di Mingtian also did not hold back. He shouted softly. The sand under his feet rose without wind. Waves of abnormally powerful pressure spread rapidly. Heaven and earth sensed it and shook violently. The sword and halberd collided. Di Mingtian retreated several steps and used the momentum to leap into the void. Emperor Underworld Order. The extreme move was used. Meteors fell from the sky. Streaks of fiery light streaked across the sky and fell into the world. The shocking move commanded the stars in the sky. The most terrifying might of heaven and earth descended with destruction. Heaven's might descended. Ning Chen stepped forward. His sword danced in spring and autumn. The extreme might appeared again. Nirvana! The sword cried out. Red light rose. 10,000 sword lights rose against the sky. They were incomparably magnificent and dazzling. Shocking killer move, Nirvana shook heaven's might. The sword lights and meteors collided. The aurora was dazzling. Great rumbling sounds rang out. The most terrifying collision caused the heavens to collapse for 10,000 li. It was as if doomsday was arriving, shaking heaven and earth. In front of the Hall of the Dead, Everyone who was in the midst of a fierce battle looked into the distance. They were shocked. What exactly happened there? Forbidden Dark Seal, Six Sins Tao Destruction. In the aftermath, a silvery figure appeared. His eyes shone brightly. The sun and moon appeared. His divine origin was vast like waves. The void within 1,000 miles sank. Everything was turned into ashes. Sword technique nothingness. The raging waves were not over yet. Ning Chen's phoenix cry sword moved again. The sword was nothingness. With a loud bang, the two extremes devoured rapidly. Endless destruction. The sun and moon lost their colors. A shocking battle. The knowing destiny who had awakened from nirvana had an unprecedented battle strength. His sword technique was endless. The rumbling shook the world. Waves of dust spread out. In front of the Hall of the Dead, everyone was affected by the aftermath of the battle. They took several steps back. The battle came to a standstill. At the center of the battle, Emo Luotian, who was fighting with Ji Yuechu, pushed back the people in front of him. He looked into the distance, and his eyes focused. In just 100 years, the ninth son of Maha's sect had grown to such a terrifying extent. Today, no matter what, he could not be allowed to leave here. 10th ancestor, please take action. After making up his mind, Emo Luotian turned around and said respectfully. As soon as he finished speaking, there was silence. A moment later, a shocking terror appeared. Above the Hall of the Dead, the space cracked. A force that had never been seen in the mortal world erupted. The world trembled. Chapter 817. In the absolute beginning Forbidden Land, the battle had reached its climax. In order to save Ju Emo clan's ninth disciple, Emo Luotian used his trump card to summon the 10 ancestors of Nether Hall. After a short moment of silence, the space above Nether Hall suddenly cracked open. An indescribable power erupted, shaking the world. In an instant, everyone's expression changed as they looked above Nether Hall. This is the fourth realm. Lin Xiaohan, the head of Qilin Pavilion's Supreme, was shocked. Doesn't look like it. Ji Yuechu's expression sank as he said. But it's not much different. Nether Hall actually has such a strong expert. What should we do? Retreat. Qi Wenju, the martial arts chief of Butian Pavilion, looked at the increasingly terrifying aura in the sky and asked. I'm afraid it's too late. Ji Yuechu's expression turned serious as he said. If we retreat now, we'll die even faster. I'll block him. You guys finish this quickly. After speaking, Ji Yuechu took a step forward and flew towards Nether Hall. You can't leave. Emo Luotian's figure flashed as he wanted to block Ji Clan's sacred master's path. Qi Wenju's gaze turned serious as the folding fan in his hand flew out and blocked the person in front of him. Qi Wenju, don't think that just because you have the title of martial arts chief, you're really a martial arts chief. In front of me, your title isn't worth mentioning. Emo Luotian looked at the person in front of him and mocked. Hall Master's fame is known by the world. However, I also heard that 100 years ago, Hall Master was defeated by a swordsman. It can be seen that Hall Master isn't really invincible. Qi Wenju said indifferently. You're courting death. Being poked at his sore spot, Emo Luotian's expression turned cold. He raised his hand and black fog rolled, turning into a black dragon that swallowed the former. Qi Wenju's footsteps turned as his figure changed strangely. He moved swiftly, and his whereabouts were hard to predict. Not far away, the head of Qilin Pavilion's Supreme, Lin Xiaohan, was also facing a strong enemy. The green-armored expert's moves were domineering and powerful. Outside the center of the battle, the Ji clan and 2 pavilions' true realm experts were fighting against the Nether Hall's guardians. The battle was so intense that it was hard to look at it. Blood and black fog constantly scattered. It was extremely tragic. The most eye-catching thing was that in the sky above the Hall of the Dead, in the huge rift in space, the heavy foreign pressure continued to rise. The 10 ancestors of the Hall of the Dead revived and walked out of the secret realm step by step. The skinny old man was dressed in ancient clothing. He seemed to be from an ancient era, at least several thousand years old. However, the powerful aura around the old man surpassed everyone present. An ancient existence that surpassed the peak of the true realm and was infinitely close to the fourth realm appeared today, shocking everyone. Why did you wake me up? The 10 ancestors of the Nether Hall swept their gazes across the battlefield. Immediately, they looked at the current master of the Nether Hall at the center of the battle and said indifferently, the existence of one of them might threaten the Hall of the Underworld in the future. 10th ancestor, please get rid of him. Emoluotion said as he pushed the battle back with a palm. Who is it? The Nether Hall's 10 ancestors asked coldly. He's the pinnacle of the sword Dao, Emogate's 9th son. Emoluotion looked over. Prepare the food for the 2 true realm experts, said the Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors indifferently. Yes, Emoluotion replied respectfully. After that, the Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors looked back at the middle-aged man in front of them and said indifferently, get out of the way, or die. Ji Yuechu's expression turned serious and said, sorry, if you want to go over, you'll have to defeat me first. Peak of the true realm, not bad. It's a pity to kill you. I'll use you to refine the corpse god. After saying that, the Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors flashed over. An extremely powerful power of law surrounded them as they slammed down with their palms, causing the world to sink. Ji Yuechu's eyes narrowed as a strange light shone around him. He activated the martial arts realm that he had never used before. Instantly, the sky was filled with stars, and light shone down on the world. God's Scroll, Celestial Dance of the Heavens. The God's Scroll was unleashed and the world shook. Ji Yuechu's aura rose rapidly as he blocked the palm that came down from the sky. The extreme collision caused the space above the Hall of the Dead to collapse. Endless nothingness continued to spread, swallowing everything around. In the aftermath, Ji Yuechu took half a step back. The true chi in his body surged, but he blocked the old monster's attack. God Scroll? You're from the Spirit Void Ji family. The Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors looked at the gradually recovering space and said coldly. Ji family's current master Ji Yuechu greets the Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors. Ji Yuechu said calmly. Ji family's sacred master Ha. The Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors sneered and said, as a sacred master, you actually personally came to attack my Underworld Hall. It seems that my juniors have done something that angers the heavens. It's indeed in line with my Underworld Hall's principles. So I've come today to seek justice, Ji Yuechu said indifferently. Justice? The Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors' expression turned even colder. Talking about justice with my Underworld Hall is truly laughable. Ji family's sacred master, my target today isn't you. Move aside, or don't blame me for being merciless. I can't move aside. Ji Yuechu shook his head and said, the person you want to kill is my daughter's friend, and this person was invited by me. I can't let anything happen to him here. I don't want my daughter to hate me forever. Then you can go to hell first. Murderous intent flashed in the Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors' eyes. With a stomp of his foot, the space within 100 miles collapsed. Ji Yuechu activated the Divine Transformation Scroll, and the god bloodline in his body burned rapidly. The space around him distorted, and an unparalleled god aura soared into the sky. The 2 palms met, and a shocking collision sound rang out. A huge black hole appeared between the two, and the laws in space were all shattered into nothingness. It was a shocking scene. Ji Yuechu retreated 2 more steps, and a drop of blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. He was injured for the first time. An existence that had peaked into the 4th level, and had integrated the laws into his body, was not something that ordinary power could contend against. The Ji family's sacred master, who had the god bloodline and cultivated the Divine Transformation Scroll, was actually at a disadvantage. I'll say it again. Move aside, said the Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors. I can't move aside. Ji Yuechu was still indifferent, and he was not willing to move an inch. You don't know the meaning of death. The Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors' expression turned colder and colder. Their bodies moved, and the wind whistled. Their true chi condensed into a terrifying pressure that seemed to have materialized. With the killing move in front of him, Ji Yuechu's god blood burned crazily, and he activated his true yuan. The Divine Transformation Scroll opened again, blocking the incoming killing move. At this moment, the world suddenly stagnated, and countless sword lights crisscrossed, piercing through the void and blocking in front of Ji Yuechu in an instant. The next moment, a rumbling sound rang out, and tens of thousands of sword lights blocked the killing move of the Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors. The remaining power roared, shocking everyone present. Senior Sacred Master, you've already blocked 2 moves for me. It's enough. Let me handle the rest myself. Ningchen walked over and looked at the old man in front of him calmly. You're Emo Gate's 9th disciple? Not bad. I finally understand why Emo Luotian can't wait to kill you, said the Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors coldly. Senior, you're too kind. Ningchen replied politely, and his eyes swept across Di Mingtian, who was chasing from behind. He said, Sacred Master, I'll leave that person to you. If I'm not wrong, Miss Ji's bloodline power is most likely hidden in his body. Hearing this, Ji Yuechu was startled at first, then a worried expression appeared on his face. He said, Can you stop him? Ningchen did not waste any more words and replied indifferently, I can. All right, hold on for a while. Once I'm done with that person, I'll come back to help you. Ji Yuechu replied, and his figure flashed, blocking Di Mingtian from getting closer. To have such strength and guts at such a young age, you're really extraordinary. Unfortunately, I like to kill geniuses the most. The Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors sneered and stepped out. The yin qi around him continuously merged into his body, and the laws intertwined, forming black chains. I'm not a genius. I'm just a person who can't die yet. Heaven can't kill me, and neither can you. Ningchen waved his hand, and the immortal execution sword appeared. The ferocious aura on the sword roared, and it was extremely shocking. Immortal execution sword. The Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors' expression froze, but he was not too surprised. A broken immortal sword was not much of a threat to him. Sword art, returning to truth. With a casual voice and an ordinary sword, Ning Chen's immortal slaying slashed across the air, and a sword light broke through the air, instantly reaching the 10 ancestors' chest. Useless move. The Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors turned their palms to block the sword. With a loud bang, the sword light dissipated and disappeared. Sword art ultimate heaven. After the first sword, another sword came out, and the power was also ordinary. The sword chi was filled with killing intent, and it reached the 10 ancestors' chest again. The Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors frowned slightly, and raised his hand to shatter the sword chi. Looking at the person in front of him, he did not delay any longer, and his figure flashed, and he turned his palm to the former. Ning Chen's expression was uncomfortable, and he turned his feet. His figure flickered, and he dodged the former's powerful palm. Sword art, dragon sparrow transformation. With a slash of the sword, the azure dragon and vermilion bird roared out, and swept towards the former's back. The Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors' eyes darkened, and he turned back to focus his energy, shattering the 2 sword chi with a palm. This person is troublesome. Before he finished his thought, Hong Yi arrived, and the Phoenix Cry sword glowed with red light. With a slash of the sword, she disappeared again. The Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors turned his palm to shatter the sword chi again, and his expression was unusually cold. Heaven and earth extreme speed. No wonder Emo Luotian wanted to kill this person so badly, but he was still alive. Grasping extreme Dao and extreme speed, this person was not weaker than the Ji clan's sacred master, and might even be more troublesome. Are you thinking of escaping like this? The Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors looked at the young man in front of them, and spoke with sarcasm. Senior's cultivation is unparalleled. This junior naturally does not dare to fight head-on. Ning Chun responded with another slash of his sword. The Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors' true chi burst out, shattering the sword chi, and sneered. How long do you think you can escape for? 10 moves or 100 moves? I don't need that many moves. Ning Chun waved his immortal execution again, and the sharp sword chi broke through the air, and its power multiplied. The Underworld Hall's 10 ancestors' face darkened, and they moved their palms to block the sword chi. Did Emo Luotian tell you that the time seal is in my hands? Senior, What do you think you lack the most now? Ningchen stopped and asked indifferently. Not good. When the underworld hall's 10 ancestors heard this, their faces suddenly changed, but it was already too late. In the surrounding heaven and earth, the yellow spring opened its time seal, and time flowed. Within 1,000 feet range, time flowed rapidly, swallowing the former's already dried-up lifespan. Strong cultivation does not mean everything. Senior, your weakness is too obvious. Have a good trip to the yellow spring. As soon as he finished speaking, Ningchen took a step and leaped into the air. The phoenix cry sword in his hand turned, and a fatal sword broke through the air. Chapter 8:18. In the sky above the Hall of the Dead, sword light shone brightly as the yellow springs trapped the enemy. In the instant that the passage of time took their lives, tens of thousands of swords gushed out like a tidal wave, turning into a rain of swords that slashed towards the old man in front. He did not hold back in the slightest. The sword flow drowned the void and swallowed the bodies of the 10 ancestors of the Hall of the Underworld. I can't accept it. I can't accept it. Amidst the sword flow, the bodies of the 10 ancestors of the Hall of the Dead gradually collapsed. The vitality that was taken away by the time seal dissipated between heaven and earth, and there was no longer any power to reverse the situation. The moment his physical body collapsed, the divine souls of the 10 ancestors of the Hall of the Dead broke out of his body, peeking into the 4th level of cultivation and protecting his life. Sword Art Dragon Phoenix Burial. Ningchen's expression didn't change at all. The phoenix cry sword in his hand turned around, and the dragon and phoenix intertwined, attacking the former's soul. His consciousness had yet to fully recover after leaving his body, and the 10 ancestors of the underworld hall were about to fall. Outside the battlefield, Missouri Luotian flipped his palm and blasted away, Wuxia from the heaven-mending pavilion in front of him. His figure flashed and blocked the sword move. He condensed his origin energy into his palm and forcefully blocked the killing move. Ah! With a stuffy cough, the corners of his lips turned red. Mo Luotian, who had hurriedly blocked the attack, didn't have enough essence and was immediately wounded. However, in this short moment, the divine soul consciousness of the 10 ancestors of the Nether Hall gradually recovered. Their eyes opened, and a majestic pressure swept out. Since you destroyed my body, you shall pay with your life. The 10 ancestors of the Nether Hall stepped forward. Their auras were unique and powerful, making it hard for others to understand. Ningchen looked at the old man in front of him and said indifferently, "How long can you last with only your soul left? If I can kill you once, I can kill you a second time." Not far away, heaven-mending Pavilion's Wuxia hurried to the battlefield. He once again took action to stop Mo Luotian, separating the battle between the two sides. The 10 ancestors of the Hall of the Underworld stepped forward, and the moment their figures moved again, red light shone in the surroundings. The sword light was dazzling, and the sword momentum was endless. The celestial trapping was used again, sealing the space. In a fair duel, I'm not your match, but in a battle of life and death, you'll definitely lose. As soon as he finished speaking, the red robe flashed past. The light of restrictions filled the sky again. Time passed without a trace, and 100 years passed in a breath. Ah! Painful groans were heard. Under the influence of time, cracks appeared on the divine souls of the 10 ancestors of the Hall of the Dead. They could resist the world, but they could not resist the erosion of time. 100 breaths of time, yellow springs borrowing life. At the moment when their souls were about to be destroyed, the 10 ancestors of the Hall of the Dead shone brightly, and their shattered souls recovered once again. They borrowed life from the netherworld, which was shocking. Ningchen stood in the air and looked at the divine restriction that was gradually weakening. His eyes narrowed slightly. It was already at its limit. An old monster close to the 4th realm was indeed not so easy to kill. Before he could finish his thoughts, the figures of the 10 ancestors of the Hall of the Dead flashed past and broke through the restraints of the divine prohibition. In an instant, they arrived before him, and threw a punch full of hatred. A part of the world collapsed. In the collapsing heaven and earth, red clothes rushed out. Her sword hummed as she relied on her speed to barely avoid the danger. Descent of the Sixth Tao, myriad demonic tribulations, supreme forbidden sword. The sound of a phoenix pierced through the air, and red light filled the sky. Streaks of sword light appeared out of nowhere. The moment the sword light reached its peak, Ning Chen's feet trembled, and his body soared into the sky. Countless sword light rays surrounded his body, and then they pierced through the sky. Apocalyptic calamity. The calamity began, and the heavens and earth grieved. Wherever the sword flow passed, all things collapsed. Terrifying spatial ravines appeared one after another, swallowing everything in the surroundings. The faces of the 10 ancestors of the Hall of the Dead sank. They activated the power of the heavens and earth with their palms. The maelstrom of laws swirled and blocked the sword light descending from the sky. In an instant, a rumbling sound echoed throughout the forbidden land of absolute beginning. The sword flow continued to disperse, turning into stars and disappearing into the world. Sword-style formless sword. At the same time, red clothes appeared. Her body and sword were extremely fast. The scattered sword aura gathered and condensed into one, breaking through the former's divine soul. There was a groan as the sword entered the divine soul. The 10 ancestors of the Hall of the Dead took a few steps back. Having lost their physical bodies, their strength had also weakened to the lowest point. It was difficult for them to withstand the sword. As I said, your weakness is too obvious. It was the same just now, and it's the same now. Ning Chen said coldly. The baleful aura on the celestial slaying sword erupted, swallowing the former's body and sealing it into the sword. 10 ancestors. In the battle not far away, seeing the old man's divine soul disappear, Emolution was shocked and cried out. Being distracted in battle, Hall Master, isn't that impolite? Qi Wenju's palm wind was in front of him, and she said lightly. Emolution came back to his senses and turned his palm to block the attack. With a bang, the battle separated. The 10 ancestors would be defeated. This was something he had never expected. That 9th son of the Mahis sect already had such terrifying strength? In the sky above the Hall of the Dead, after getting rid of the 10 ancestors, Ning Chen didn't stay for long. He took a step forward and disappeared instantly. In the battle far away, Ji Yuechu and Di Mingtian were fighting fiercely. It was difficult to end the battle in a short time. At this moment, red clothes appeared out of thin air and slashed at Di Mingtian without hesitation. When the sword light arrived, Di Mingtian's expression turned serious. He slashed back with his silver halberd, blocking the sword light. Divine Scroll Celestial Dance. As the sword and halberd clashed, a flaw appeared. Seeing this, Ji Yuechu's body shone with purple light, and he slapped at Di Mingtian's chest. A pool of blood splashed and dyed Di Mingtian's divine robe red. With the two experts working together, Di Mingtian was finally defeated and injured for the first time. Sacred Lord. This moment couldn't be missed. Ning Chen reminded Ji Yuechu, and his sword condensed into 8 desolations. Ji Yuechu understood and formed a seal with his hands. His divine blood boiled and resonated with each other. A beautiful bloody light spread out and enveloped Di Mingtian's body. Di Mingtian waved his halberd to block the sword. The overbearing sword couldn't be completely neutralized, and the true essence in his body surged violently. Di Mingtian's true essence couldn't keep up, and his body was penetrated. Streams of blood were separated from his body and flew to Ji Yuechu. Seeing that the divine blood was about to leave his body, Di Mingtian roared angrily. The crown on his head shattered, and a silver light bloomed. God-slaying halberd. Ji Yuechu came back to his senses and hurriedly blocked the attack. He couldn't activate his cultivation technique in time and retreated a few steps. Ning Chen's eyes narrowed. Just as he was about to attack again, his expression suddenly changed, and he looked at the sky above the Hall of the Dead. Above the Hall of the Dead, a terrifying 1,000-foot-long gully appeared again. An aura that was no weaker than or even stronger than the 10 ancestors of the Hall of the Dead quickly awakened and spread out. Let's go. Since the battle wasn't going well, Ning Chen cut open the battle and said in a deep voice. Not far away, Ji Yuechu also felt the terrifying pressure from the alternate space. He no longer hesitated and shouted, "Retreat!" In the various battles, the experts of the Ji family and the two pavilions heard the order and retreated out of the forbidden land of absolute beginning. Sacred Lord, help me. Seeing the experts of the Hall of the Dead behind him, Ningchen shouted. Hearing that, Ji Yuechu's figure flashed and instantly appeared behind Ningchen. He gathered his true essence and channeled it into his body. 100 suns returned to the east. Ningchen pointed and gathered his true essence. Flames gushed out from the Phoenix Cry sword, and 100 suns soared into the sky, illuminating the world. In the next moment, 100 suns fell like rain, turning 100 miles around the Hall of the Dead into a sea of fire. After that, the two figures flashed and quickly retreated, disappearing in the blink of an eye. In the flames, Di Mingtian and Emo Luotian walked out. Looking at the group of people leaving, their expressions were unusually cold. How much divine blood was taken? Emo Luotian asked. 60%, Di Mingtian replied. Emo Luotian's eyes narrowed. They actually lost so much. A ninth disciple of the Mahis sect had messed up all their arrangements. After the Ji family and the two palaces' armies left, the terrifying aura above the Hall of the Dead gradually disappeared. The huge gully in the space closed and returned to normal. In the starry sky, the war chariot rumbled as it streaked through the void, returning to the White Emperor star. In this battle, the Ji family and the two palaces' experts had suffered quite a bit of losses. The Hall of the Dead's strength was shocking. After thousands of years of recuperation, they had shocked the world with a single brilliant feat. Sacred Master, we won't travel together any longer. We'll return to report first. Halfway back, the Heaven Mending Pavilion's martial leader Qi Wenju and the Qilin Pavilion's head Grand Elder Lin Xiaohan bid their farewells and left. Before leaving, they looked at the red-robed youth not far away thoughtfully. The three sides parted ways. Ningchen followed Ji Yuechu back to the White Emperor City and sat down to talk in the sacred hall. Little brother Ning, I have to thank you this time. Ji Yuechu looked at the person in front of him. Senior Sacred Master is too courteous. I failed to help Senior Sacred Master take back all of Miss Ji's bloodline strength, said Ningchen softly. You can't be blamed for this. The Hall of the Dead's strength was originally the strongest among all the inheritances. It wasn't easy for them to have such a result. At this point, Ji Yuechu changed the topic and reminded, Little brother Ning, the two people from the Qilin Pavilion and the Heaven Mending Pavilion looked at you strangely. You have to be careful. Senior Sacred Master, thank you for your reminder. Ningchen nodded and said, Will not being able to take back all of Miss Ji's bloodline strength have a big impact? Ji Yuechu shook his head and said, There will be an impact, but it won't be too big. Yuqing's divine blood is the purest in the Ji family in so many years. It's enough to take back 60% of her bloodline strength this time. The rest will require time to recuperate. Junior can rest assured then. Ningchen replied. He thought for a moment and hesitated for a moment. In the end he still said, Sacred Master, Junior has a presumptuous request. I hope Sacred Master can agree to it. Ji Yuechu was puzzled and said, What is it? Little brother Ning, don't hesitate. You're my Ji family's friend. I'll try my best to satisfy your request. Ning Chen's expression became serious, and he said sincerely, Junior wants to take a look at the Ji family's divine scroll. Sacred Master can state the conditions, even if you use other heavenly books to exchange. Ji Yuechu frowned after hearing this. After a long time he asked, Can I know what you want the divine scroll for? To break through to the immortal treading realm. Ningchen did not hide and replied, Junior's aptitude is limited and has been trapped at the peak of the Xiantian realm for 100 years. The divine scroll is the highest among the 10 heavenly books. Its power is extraordinary. Perhaps it can help Junior break through this insurmountable barrier. So you really haven't stepped into the immortal treading realm. The treasures on your body are really powerful. Even I can't see through your cultivation. Ji Yuechu sighed. I've let Sacred Master see a joke. Junior's aptitude is too low. I've been walking this step for a long time, but I still can't succeed. Ningchen replied. Little brother Ning, Do you know that the divine scroll is a secret of the Ji family's sacred master's bloodline? Even the grand elders in the family don't have the qualifications to cultivate it, Ji Yuechu said calmly. I know. Ningchen nodded. I really want to help you, but the divine scroll is never passed to outsiders. I can't agree to your request unless. Ji Yuechu looked at the person in front of him and continued. You'll become a member of the Ji family's sacred master's bloodline. Ningchen frowned and said, Sacred master, what do you mean? You'll marry Yuqing, Ji Yuechu said seriously. Chapter 819. In the Ji clan's sacred palace, Ji Yuechu spoke. Ningchen fell silent. After a while, he shook his head and said, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm already married. Ji Yuechu frowned. When? Why haven't I heard Yuqing mention it? Just after we left the ancient path. Ningchen said calmly. I have no reason to lie to senior. Besides, I have countless enemies. It's not a wise choice for you to choose me. Ji Yuechu sighed with emotion and said, I more or less understand what you are capable of. Unfortunately, you are already married, which truly surprises me. Ningchen looked at the Ji clan's sacred leader and said, Senior sacred leader, I have something I hope you can listen to. Although the parents' opinions are important during a wedding, Miss Ji's personal wishes are the most important. This kind of thing can't be forced. I treat Miss Ji as a friend, and Miss Ji should be the same. With Miss Ji's appearance and upbringing, she will definitely meet her true love in the future. However, that person won't be me. After hearing the former's words, a complicated expression appeared in Ji Yuechu's eyes. It seemed that this matter was truly impossible. His impression of this child was quite good. It was truly too much of a pity. Since he already knew the answer, Ningchen didn't stay any longer. He stood up and bowed respectfully. Senior Sacred Master, I've disturbed you for a long time. Junior will take his leave first. Ji Yuechu stood up and sighed. I'm deeply regretful that I can't help you. I know you have many things to do, so I won't keep you any longer. See you again. See you again. Ningchen nodded and turned to leave. Looking at Ningchen's back, Ji Yuechu's expression became even more complicated. Such a talented young man couldn't become a member of his Ji family. He was really unwilling. Even the divine scroll and the pearl of my Ji family can't change his mind. Sacred Master, this young man is truly a fool. One of the Ji family's supreme elders stepped forward and spoke while looking ahead. It's rare for a person to be so foolish. With his martial talent, it's unimaginable that he could reach this level. Perhaps this word fool is the most important reason why he surpassed all the younger generation. Ji Yuechu sighed. Half a day later, Ningchen returned to Phoenix Cry City. Thoughts flashed through his eyes as he walked. There were gains and losses in this trip. Unfortunately, it was confirmed that he couldn't obtain the divine scroll. He had to find another way to break through the barrier. Not far away, in front of the majestic palace, Lin Yuzhen stood there, waiting for Ningchen's return. Not long after, Ningchen entered the palace and walked step by step towards the palace. Their gazes met calmly and peacefully. Ningchen walked forward and returned the Phoenix Cry sword. Many thanks. Lin Yuzhen took the Phoenix Cry sword and asked softly, Are you leaving? Ningchen nodded. I haven't finished my business, so I have to leave. Lin Yuzhen was silent. After a while she said, Qing Ning and the others told me a little about your matter before they left. The place with the most demonic aura in the world is the former demonic sect. However, after the chaos of the three sects, the demonic sect disappeared from this world. No one knows where they are now. Whether you can find them or not will depend on your luck. Ningchen nodded. He thought for a while and said, Your Highness, you still have to be patient about the Qilin Pavilion. Such a huge force can't be destroyed easily. Your Highness needs to wait for an opportunity. If the opportunity comes one day, I will definitely come back to help. When Lin Yuzhen heard this, she smiled and said, I understand. You can go. Ningchen clasped his fist and bowed. He didn't say anything else and turned to leave. In front of the palace, Lin Yuzhen looked at the former's departing figure. Although her eyes were calm, There were ripples in her heart. His path was long and bumpy. Whether it was recovering his two bodies or stepping into the immortal realm, it wasn't easy. However, once he succeeded, no one in the world could defeat him. After another 100 days, in the Alcade Galaxy, where the demonic sect used to be, a red figure walked over slowly. She looked at the dilapidated halls in front of her. An array of light flashed. The world didn't tolerate the existence of the demonic sect. It was even more impossible to tolerate the existence of the demonic sect. In the War of the Three Sects, many sects helped. In the end, Taoism was destroyed, Buddhism was greatly damaged, and the demonic sect disappeared. It could be said that there was no winner and the world lost. The recovery of the demonic body required a large amount of demonic aura. Therefore, he had to find the demonic sect. This was his only choice. Walking step by step in the demonic sect ruins, Ning Chen scanned with his divine sense, looking for any traces left behind. However, the result was always unsatisfactory. After thousands of years, all traces had been erased. Besides the ruins that caused one to sigh, nothing else could be seen. Marquis Jiming, you shouldn't have come here. At this moment, a beautiful figure slowly descended from the sky. She held a red paper umbrella that blocked the cold moonlight. A pure and holy aura spread out in the night sky. It was very eye-catching. It's you. Ning Chen looked over and saw the person. His expression turned cold. Enemies were bound to meet on a narrow road. Taisher was unsheathed, and a dazzling green light shone. Sword intent rose around Ning Chen like starlight, dazzling and eye-catching. 100 years ago, you were still no match for me with 3 bodies. Today, you only have 1 body left, and you dare to raise your sword against me? Moonweaver stepped forward with the umbrella. Looking at the abandoned demonic palace ruins, a trace of emotion flashed in her eyes. Who are you? How do you know where I came from? Ning Chen did not hide the murderous intent in his eyes as he said coldly, in the human realm beyond heaven, there were very few people who knew his identity. He did not know this woman, but she knew everything about his past. It was very strange. There is a technique in this world called the soul-searching art. Is it very difficult to find out where you came from? Moonweaver indifferently said. Ning Chen was startled at first, and then his expression changed. His killing intent crazily erupted, and Taisher's sword shone with dazzling light as he slashed down. With a boom, the 2 swords clashed. An astonishing silver divine sword appeared in Moonweaver's hand and blocked Taisher's sword light. The Dao sword. Moonweaver looked at the green sword in Ning Chen's hand, a cold light flashing in her eyes. True essence surged around her as she swung her sword to push back the person in front of her. What did you do to Butterfly in the Flower? Ning Chen asked, his face filled with killing intent. Oh. Moonweaver's expression changed. You can guess that the person I soul-searched is Butterfly in the Flower. You truly live up to your name. You still haven't answered me. Ning Chen's killing intent grew even thicker as he coldly said. Moonweaver sneered, and the moonlight in her hand blossomed. If you want to know the answer, let me see if you have the right. As you wish. Overflowing with killing intent, it was difficult to suppress. The light of the 4 symbols rose around Ning Chen, catalyzing his phoenix blood ancestral awakening. His long hair instantly turned red and danced in the wind. An instant later, his red clothes disappeared, and his sword moved with him. There was only one sword that surpassed the peak in the world. It was fast, so fast that the wind howled. It was strong, so strong that it could not be refuted. 100 years ago and 100 years later, only the sword accompanied him for life. Moonweaver swung her sword to block. The sword light was fast, and the flames blazed. In the blink of an eye, they had exchanged 100 moves, and she was not at a disadvantage at all. You want to use extreme speed to suppress the power of the moonlight reversal. A wise move, but it's still not enough. With that, the moonlight in Moonweaver's hand blossomed. The moment the 2 swords clashed, Ning Chen's body sank, and his legs sank into the ground with a boom. The strange power of the sword could control gravity and reverse the laws, making it impossible to guard against. Ning Chen stomped his foot and flew into the air. His left hand gathered essence, and phoenix fire rose, burning the sky and boiling the sea as it descended, engulfing hundreds of miles. Indeed, the moonlight reversal cannot affect formless objects. However, your strongest weapon is the sword in your hand. If you don't use your sword, how can you defeat me? Moonweaver said with an indifferent expression as she looked at the rising phoenix flames around her. Ningchen did not answer. Waves of fire surged around him, and the rising sun shone in the east. The heavenly book martial arts appeared again. The divine sun rose into the sky, illuminating the night. The next moment it fell, burning the world. The phoenix fire assisted the sun, and its power was shocking. Moonweaver's eyes narrowed, and the cold air on her sword increased. She slashed with her sword, blocking the divine sun. The two extremes clashed, and the heavens and earth shook. Above the ruins of the demon palace, the void rumbled and collapsed. Book of the Sun, 9 suns burning the heavens. After the rising sun, the 9 suns fell from the sky. Phoenix fire gathered, and its power multiplied. Moonweaver's eyes turned cold. The moonlight reversal in her hand turned, and the ice condensed the water vapor between heaven and earth, rushing toward the 9 suns. Rumbling sounds shook intensely, the aftermath vast and mighty. The sun and moon lost their color, and within the waves of clouds, the collapsed void gradually recovered. However, the shaking of heaven and earth didn't stop for a long time. This was a battle at the pinnacle. The two shockingly powerful people clashed with each other, and the destructive power caused the ruins of the demon palace to become even more devastated. In just 100 years, your growth is admirable. Moonweaver waved her sword to disperse the surrounding shockwaves. She looked calmly at the youth in front of her. 100 years ago, this youth's 3 bodies had not been her match. 100 years later, he was able to fight her to this extent with just his phoenix body. It was truly extraordinary. You praise me too much. Ning Chen's figure slowly descended. The enemy is getting stronger and stronger. Knowing destiny does not dare to stop. I'll ask you again. What did you do to the butterfly in the flower? Defeat me and I'll tell you, said Moonweaver indifferently. There was no turning back. Ningchen did not say anything else. He pointed his finger, and the 100 suns rose once more. The 100 suns returned to the east. The sun true scripture appeared once more. Night turned into day, and shocking scenes shook the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The ground within 1,000 miles began to disintegrate, and the ruins of the demon palace began to show signs of collapse. Giant fissures intersected, so deep that the bottom could not be seen. Extreme Tao chaotic reversal. The Moonweaver whispered. Her silhouette flashed, and her sword broke through the air. Silver light filled the air. Ningchen clenched his left hand, and a white rainbow appeared. An extremely soft sword wrapped around the moonlight, trapping the former. In the blink of an eye, 100 suns fell into the world. The terrifying scene of a meteor shower instantly engulfed the entire Devil Palace ruins. In an instant, the ground within 100 miles caved in. The sand was like a raging wave, completely engulfing the two figures. Chapter 820. In the ruins of the Demon Palace, 100 suns fell. Destructive power erupted, causing the heavens to collapse and the earth to fall. All the stars in the sky lost their color. Everything was within reach. The inverted moon was bound by the white rainbow, but Moonweaver's expression was not flustered. The corners of her mouth curved up, and the silver light on her sword flourished. The white rainbow trembled, unraveling itself. The 100 suns fell, drowning the area within 100 li of the two. Rumbling sounds rang out, and waves of dust soared into the sky. A red paper umbrella appeared in the surging dust. The Moonweaver waved her hand to disperse the waves of fire. She looked at the figure in front of her and stepped forward, brandishing her sword. With a clang, the two swords clashed once more. Ning Chen's body became light, and he involuntarily floated into the air. The Moonweaver's power once more displayed its wonders. The Moonweaver wiped away a trace of blood at the corner of her mouth. She looked at the figure floating in the air, and with a stomp of her foot, she leapt into the air. Her sword once more slashed out, its power even greater than before. The ground shook violently as the red-clothed figure fell from the sky, creating waves of sand. On the ground, Ningchen steadied himself and looked at the woman holding the umbrella in the sky. His eyes flashed with a serious look. It seemed that the attack just now had completely enraged this woman. Even the power of her attack was much more powerful than before. In the air, the Moonweaver slowly descended with her red umbrella. The Moonweaver's silver light grew brighter and brighter. "If you don't use your full strength, you won't be able to walk out of here alive," said the Moonweaver coldly. Ningchen's expression hardened. He clenched his left hand, and immortal execution appeared. Red light soared into the sky, sealing the heavens and the earth. In an instant, the red-clothed figure disappeared, and the wind and clouds on his sword changed. With a boom, immortal execution and Moonweaver clashed. Waves of dust surged, and Ningchen's body sank, his legs sinking into the ground. Red light soared as Ningchen pulled himself out of the ground. Genesis Supreme slashed down with him, and the two swords clashed once more. This was an unparalleled art of the sword. With the divine sword in hand, the Moonweaver suppressed knowing destiny's every move, making it difficult for his attacks to be effective. The red light that rose from the ground became more and more dazzling. The earthly chi under the demonic palace was swallowed by the celestial trapping sword, and turned into sword chi that filled the sky. There was no beginning or end, it was endless. As the red light entered the sword, Ningchen's attacks became even fiercer. Every move of immortal slaying in Taisher was as fast as lightning, as heavy as a mountain. After exchanging dozens of blows, Moonweaver suddenly frowned. She knocked away the person in front of her with her sword, and a cold light flashed across her face as she looked at the trembling inverted moon in her hand. "Did you notice?" Ningchen's silhouette moved again, the immortal slayer slashing down. The incomparably sharp immortal weapon of slaughter once again slashed at the sword in the former's hand, hitting the exact same spot. Ka! As the two swords clashed, an extremely fine crack appeared on the inverted water moon. Even a peerless divine artifact would find it hard to endure the consecutive heavy blows at the same location. It showed signs of collapse. Despicable! The Moonweaver's expression darkened as she pushed the young man back with a wave of her hand. Then, she stepped into the air and brandished her divine sword. Amidst the dazzling light, a gigantic beam of starlight appeared, gathering the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and gathering the essence of the moon. Extreme Tao Moon Goddess command. In an instant, the starlight spun, and beam after beam of sword light shot out, destroying heaven and earth. Sword technique Dragon Phoenix Burial. When Extreme Tao appeared, heaven and earth grieved. Ningchen focused and stopped moving. His entire body glowed brilliantly, borrowing strength. A dragon and a phoenix intertwined and broke through the sky. When the extreme powers collided, heaven and earth were boundless. The dragon and phoenix scattered, and the starlight was extinguished. The aftermath shook and thousands of miles turned into nothingness. Ugh! There was a muffled sound as blood splattered. Hongyi retreated half a step, and bits of vermilion fell. Amidst the dust and sand, Moonweaver's silhouette appeared. The divine sword pierced through Ningchen's chest, and blood continuously dripped down, dyeing the ground red. "I said before entering the immortal realm, you are no match for me." Moonweaver looked at the person in front of her and said coldly, "Caught you." Ningchen endured the injury in his chest, and raised his hand to grab the former's arm. Then the bloody light around him surged wildly. As the earth rumbled, the immortal trap soared into the sky. The sky was filled with red light that transformed into swords. Nirvana! Zhuxian slashed, and Nirvana reappeared. Rays of sword light tore through the sky, swallowing heaven and earth. It was incomparably magnificent. Phoenix Nirvana, seeking life in the midst of death. The boundless sword stream swallowed everything in sight. Its world-shaking might shook the entire night. As danger descended, Moonweaver's expression changed slightly. The hand holding the sword was restrained, and she could not break free. In the next moment, the sword stream fell, swallowing heaven and earth. "Open!" Without any hesitation, Moonweaver shouted. The red umbrella in her left hand flew out, and moonlight fell from the sky, illuminating her body. In an instant, an incomparably terrifying aura spread out. Amidst the rumbling, The sword light that filled the sky became formless and dissipated between heaven and earth. Not far away, the drifting red umbrella fell to the ground, still and silent. With a bang, Hong Yi flew back dozens of feet and staggered to the ground, vomiting a mouthful of blood. The dust and sand dispersed, and Moonweaver stepped out. Her long hair danced in the wind, and a terrifying demonic aura surged around her. The moon-shaped mark between her eyebrows emitted an aura that made one's heart palpitate. "You're a demon." Ning Chen steadied himself and looked at the person in front of him. "The Moon Demon Clan's Moonweaver. Or perhaps you can call me the third protector of the Devil Palace," said Moonweaver indifferently. "With your strength, you're only ranked third?" When Ning Chen heard this, his body trembled slightly as he said in surprise, "I don't remember letting you experience my full strength." "Knowledge, Marquis. There are many things you don't know. If you don't step into the immortal treading realm, you'll never have the qualifications." Moonweaver walked to the side and picked up the red umbrella once more, blocking the moonlight descending from the sky. A moment later, the devil seal vanished, and the surging demonic aura also disappeared. Everything returned to its pure and holy state. Ning Chen narrowed his eyes, and the sword and tent around him also dissipated. The immortal trapping mark flew back and disappeared. "To be able to force me to undo the seal, you win. Speak, what do you want to know?" asked Moonweaver calmly. "Where is the butterfly in the flower?" "How is she?" asked Ning Chen. "The butterfly in the flower is in the Devil Palace. She's fine. As for the Devil Palace's location, I won't tell you." "You don't need to ask," said Moonweaver. Ning Chen's worry lessened slightly. He continued, "Last time in the ancient battlefield, seeing your apprentice sister Dai's aura seemed a bit strange. Why is that?" "The 9 netherworlds heaven-devouring devil scripture." The Moonweaver slowly spat out these words in response. Ning Chen trembled in disbelief. He had heard this name before. It was a lost devil scripture that had the ability to devour all sources. How had senior apprentice sister Dai obtained this technique? "It seems you have some understanding of this technique. Before mastering the 9 netherworlds heaven-devouring devil scripture, one must constantly devour other people's sources. Otherwise, it will backfire on one's body. The butterfly in the flower is destined to not be accepted by this world. The Devil Palace is the only place she can go," said Moonweaver. Ning Chen was silent for a moment before asking, "Can I go see her at the Devil Palace?" "I already said that you still have the qualifications. If you want to enter the Devil Palace, wait until you step into the immortal treading realm," said Moonweaver. Ning Chen nodded and didn't ask any more questions. "Wait." Behind him, Moonweaver indifferently said, "Why did you come here?" "I need devil yuan. A lot of it." Ning Chen stopped and said calmly, "Let's make a deal. I'll tell you a place, and you have to agree to one of my conditions." "How about it?" suggested Moonweaver. Ning Chen looked back at her and narrowed his eyes. "What condition? I haven't thought about it yet. However, it will definitely be within the limits of your ability," said Moonweaver. Ning Chen thought for a moment and nodded. "All right, I agree. Head west. 5,000 miles from here, there is 1,000 devil nest. There is an endless amount of devil yuan inside. However, whether or not you can come out alive after entering will depend on your luck," said Moonweaver. "Many thanks." Ning Chen didn't say anything else and turned to leave. "Knowledge, Marquis. I will be watching you from the Devil Palace. Don't disappoint me." After she finished speaking, Moonweaver's figure soared into the sky, and not long after, she disappeared into the horizon. A day later, Ning Chen arrived in front of the 1,000 devil nest. However, he wasn't in a hurry to enter. He sat down outside and began to heal. Moonweaver's words were very clear. This place was extremely dangerous, and he had to be careful. Outside the 1,000 devil nest, there was not a single blade of grass or tree growing within several hundred miles. It was an abnormally desolate land of death. It was so quiet that it made one's heart palpitate. For an entire 10 days, Ning Chen didn't get up. He was focused on healing his injuries. On the 11th day at noon, when the yang qi was at its densest, Ning Chen got up and walked into the 1,000 devil nest. Yin qi curled around this place. Not long after entering, He felt an extremely uncomfortable aura fill the air. It was indescribable, but it was very clear. Ning Chen's expression became grave. Phoenix flames rose around him, resisting the corrosion of the Yin ghost chi. After walking for a long time, he didn't see anything. Ning Chen's divine sense spread out, wanting to investigate the structure of the Thousand Devil Nest. However, as soon as his divine sense was released, he felt an unshakable pressure press down on him, sealing his divine sense. Ning Chen frowned slightly. What a strange cave. There was actually a formation of the divine restriction level here. Was it sealing something? That moon weaver didn't reveal anything. She was definitely hiding many things. This Thousand Devil Nest most likely had some incredible existence. After walking for more than an hour, and taking countless turns, the formation's suppression on the divine sense became stronger and stronger. In the end, it was impossible to even release one's divine sense. What a powerful formation! Ning Chen's expression became even more grave. Although his cultivation hadn't broken through the peak of the Xiantian realm, his divine sense was no weaker than any true realm expert. Suddenly, Yin Qi curled up in front of him. A floating white figure appeared. Its face was sinister, and it opened its mouth to bite. Ning Chen raised his hand. Phoenix flames surged, instantly swallowing the figure. Ah! A mournful cry rang out. The white figure gradually dispersed, disappearing from the world. In spirit, seeing that the white figure had completely disappeared, Ning Chen narrowed his eyes. In spirits were formed from the souls of living creatures after they died. They weren't common, because the souls of ordinary people were extremely weak. After death, they would naturally dissipate. Something was wrong. Seeing the black mist that appeared when the white figure dissipated, Ning Chen's expression became serious. This wasn't a human soul. Chapter 821. Within the Thousand Devil Nest, Ning Chen was searching for devil essence. Yin spirits appeared blocking his path. Phoenix flames spread out, and the divine flames refined the Yin spirits. Within the dissipating white mist, a black aura appeared, revealing the Yin spirits' identities when they were alive. Devil spirits. Ning Chen's expression turned serious. Looking at the Yin spirits floating in front of him, he raised his right hand, and a wave of fire surged out. The divine flames burned, and hundreds of Yin spirits screamed before dissipating. Black mist filled the air, returning to the world. Ning Chen waved his hand, capturing the black mist. He probed it with his true qi, and a serious expression appeared on his face. It was indeed demonic qi. How could there be so many devil spirits in this place? In this world, devils almost didn't exist, let alone suppressing so many of them. After thinking for a moment, Ning Chen came back to his senses and continued forward. Outside the Thousand Devil Nest, time slowly passed. The sun set in the west, and the world's Yin Qi flourished, while the Yang Qi rapidly weakened. Within the cave, the moment the day and night changed, the atmosphere changed. Waves of terrifying auras awakened, strange and terrifying, making one's heart feel stuffy. Phoenix. In the dusky sky, huge demonic figures appeared one after another. Looking at the figure below, they asked, "Why did you come here?" "Why can't I come?" Ning Chen calmly asked. "Haha." Crazy laughter rang out within the cave, and a malevolent face appeared, overflowing with hatred. A majestic fire god actually appeared in the Thousand Devil Nest? What a joke. "Phoenix, state your purpose for coming here." Another demonic shadow appeared and said in a relatively calm tone, "I need devil essence, a large amount of devil essence." Ning Chen looked at the illusory figures in front of him and said, "Devil essence? What do you need devil essence for?" A third demonic figure appeared, speaking coldly. "This has nothing to do with you," Ning Chen indifferently said. "All right," the demonic figure that spoke before spoke again. "As long as you destroy the soul-subduing banner in this Thousand Devil Nest, we will give you devil essence, an endless amount of devil essence." Soul-subduing banner? Ning Chen's eyes narrowed. "Where is it?" "Follow us." A demonic figure with an ancient voice spoke. Immediately, the figure moved and walked forward. Ning Chen stepped forward to catch up, heading towards the depths of the Thousand Devil Nest together. After walking for an unknown amount of time, outside the Thousand Devil Nest, the sky had already turned completely dark. The cold moon hung high in the sky, and the Qi in the world had also reached its peak. Inside Thousand Devil Nest, the demonic figure's auras became more and more powerful. The weather changed, allowing a portion of the demon's power to be released. Just a bit was already terrifying enough to make one tremble. Ningchen followed behind the group of demons. His expression was as calm as water, without a single ripple. "We're here." At this moment, the demonic figure stopped moving forward. Ningchen stepped forward and looked at the green flag stuck on the wall in the depths of the cave. His eyes narrowed slightly. Was this the soul-subduing banner? It didn't seem to be anything special. "As long as you destroy it, we'll give you as much devil essence as you want," said one of the devilish figures. Ningchen turned around and looked at the flickering demonic figures in the sky. He said calmly, "I don't believe you. If I destroy this soul-suppressing banner, I'm afraid the first person you want to kill will be me." "Then what do you want?" The demons suppressed the anger in their hearts and said, "I'll lay down a restriction. Once you send out your devil essence, you'll enter. Once I destroy this soul-suppressing banner and leave, you should be able to come out," suggested Ningchen. "No." The demons refused. "Once you obtain the devil essence and trap us in the restriction, if you don't keep your promise and destroy the soul-suppressing banner, what can we do to you?" Ningchen waved his hand, and the immortal execution sword appeared. Its baleful aura was extremely oppressive. "Everyone, you don't have a choice. This soul-suppressing banner shouldn't be so easy to destroy. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been trapped here until now. I think that if I leave today, it'll be difficult for you to find a second person," said Ningchen. Immortal execution. The demons were all shaken when they saw the broken ancient sword in Ningchen's hand. A moment later they said, "Fine." In the next moment, endless devil essence gathered from all directions. It was vast and surging like 100 rivers converging. It was shockingly majestic. A strange light flashed through Ningchen's eyes. Just how many devil spirits were trapped in the Thousand Devil Nest? Just who was it that killed them all and suppressed them here? The devil essence gathered, becoming denser and denser. Ningchen raised his hand, and the image of a phoenix appeared behind him. An illusory black-clothed figure appeared. Its eyes were closed, and its aura was abnormally weak. "Ha!" With a light shout, Ningchen poured the devil essence into his body, and with a flip of his palm, the devil essence converging in the horizon continuously poured into his body, helping it recover. "So you're also a devil?" Within the Thousand Devil Nest, the demons were first startled when they saw the black-clothed figure floating in the air. A deity transforming into a devil, how ironic! A demonic shadow with an extremely powerful aura said mockingly, "What is a deity and what is a devil? Can you give me an accurate distinction?" asked Ningchen indifferently. "Heh," the demon sneered. "You're right. Deities and devils are just foolish people who make their own judgments. The winner is king, and the loser is a bandit. Since ancient times we've lost, so we're naturally devils. Brat, you're very much to our liking. Once we get out, we'll help you kill whoever you want," laughed the other devils. "Many thanks, seniors." Ningchen bowed respectfully and replied, "Brat, I can see that you have a human bloodline. There are very few humans who become devils. It seems you've experienced quite a bit," said the first demon. "I had no choice but to become a devil," said Ningchen calmly. "Hate then. Hatred is the source of our strength. Since you're a devil, so what if you slaughter the world? As long as you're willing, we're willing to help you," said the demon. While Ningchen and the other devils were talking, the black-clothed figure in the air was constantly absorbing the devil essence of the Thousand Devil Nest. Its illusory figure gradually solidified. Devil marks curled around it, and its aura was noble and powerful. Royal Celestial Devil? The other devils sensed it, and their souls shook. There's actually a celestial devil in this world, and a royal one at that. Mo Ing, who was the most powerful among the group of demons, asked in surprise. Ningchen raised his head and glanced at the gradually solidifying figure. Everyone seems to know the origin of the celestial devils. Can you tell me? You don't know? Asked the strongest demon. I don't know. Ningchen shook his head. I obtained this celestial devil's essence by chance. As for its origin, I don't know. The celestial devil race is not a race of this world. Humanity is the leader of this world's myriad races. However, humanity's strength has not always been like this. Before the ancient era, the myriad races existed side by side. Humanity was not the absolute ruler. Even the immortal world was not ruled by humanity. For example, the master of the Western immortal world, the Queen Mother of the West, was actually a devil and not a human. Of course, the Queen Mother of the West and the experts of the other three immortal worlds had a peaceful relationship with humanity. The main reason for this was the master of the Eastern immortal world, who was so powerful that even the heavens and earth trembled. The four immortal worlds kept each other in check. The myriad races were also relatively peaceful. There were not many conflicts. However, there are always changes in everything. Before the great change in the ancient age, at the end of the Western immortal realm, a crack appeared in the sky and earth, and the celestial demon clan emerged from it. The celestial demons fed on human beings, and the human race fought back. Gradually, the clans that were on good terms with the human race also joined the battle. At the same time, the celestial demons roped in many large clans that were already dissatisfied with the human race. The war had reached its climax. Tens of thousands of races participated in the war, and all their dissatisfaction erupted in this war. The past forbearance and hypocrisy all became backstabbing schemes. This was the darkest period of the world. Almost no one dared to trust others. Thousands of races were wiped out in the war, completely becoming history. In the end, the peerless and invincible immortal master of the Eastern immortal world took action and killed all the instigators of the celestial devil race. The celestial devil race's vitality was greatly damaged. The Queen Mother of the West also took action personally. The Queen Mother of the West cut open the starry sky and buried the passage that the celestial devil race used to enter this world into the heavenly river, completely cutting off the hope of the celestial devil race reappearing in this world. In the next few hundred years, the four immortal worlds kept sending experts to kill the remnants of the celestial devil race in this world, until all the celestial devils disappeared. Therefore, the celestial devil race is a taboo in this world. They are also the culprits that caused the great war between the myriad races. You have the power of a royal celestial devil. If you are used by others, you will be consigned to eternal damnation. I see. Ning Chen's eyes flashed with surprise. He did not expect the celestial devil race to have such a history. Junior, your demonic body's strength has almost recovered. It's time to fulfill your promise. Seeing that they were chatting happily, the demonic shadow spoke again. Ningchen nodded. The phoenix image behind him appeared and swallowed the demonic body. It's not that Junior doesn't believe you seniors, but one must always be on guard against others. I will have to inconvenience you seniors first. While speaking, Ningchen formed seals with both hands. Complicated and peculiar seals entered the void and sealed the surrounding space. We can understand. All the demons responded and entered the Yellow Spring Forbidden Land one by one. The surging demonic flow was so shocking. The demons that had been sealed in Thousand Devil Nest for countless years could not hide the excitement in their hearts. They all took the initiative to enter the divine Forbidden Land, waiting for the moment the seal was broken. Phoenix, many thanks. The last demon, who was also the strongest, suppressed the emotions in his heart and entered the Yellow Spring Forbidden Land. A pair of cold eyes looked at the red-clothed figure outside the Yellow Spring Forbidden Land, waiting for him to take action. Seeing that all the demons had entered the divine Forbidden Land, Ningchen walked to the front of the soul-subduing banner. He stood there for a moment and slashed the banner. In an instant, inside the divine Forbidden Land, Thousand Devil's face revealed a crazed expression. The demonic nature and killing intent were involuntarily exposed. Amen. Just when all the demons thought that freedom had arrived, the immortal execution sword that was slashing the soul-subduing banner stopped. Sorry. Ningchen turned around and looked at the demons inside the divine forbidden land. He said indifferently, "I was just lying to you. I am also a demon. Do you think a demon will believe the goodwill of a group of demons?" Just as he finished speaking, the king of hell appeared in front of the red-clothed figure. The divine zither slays demons. Chapter 822. Inside the thousand devil nest, the king of hell appeared, and the white tiger divine god's weapon of slaughter rang out. The terrifying sound reverberated, destroying one's soul. In an instant, miserable cries rang out from the yellow spring divine restriction. Wherever the sound passed, the void distorted, and the formless sound waves rushed towards the origin of the demons, bringing out a waterfall of black mist. "You didn't keep your word." Distorted faces and malicious curses were heard. The origin of the demons was constantly dissipating, and they were also restricted by the yellow spring. They could neither advance nor retreat. "Keep my word. I'm not stupid enough to keep my word with the demons." While speaking, Ningchen's phoenix essence kept rising, catalyzing the divine zither's slaughter power, mercilessly slaughtering the demons. Bang bang! Explosive sounds rang out, and in the reverberating king of hell's profound sound, several demons could not bear the terrifying killing aura. Their souls exploded, and their origin aura dissipated between heaven and earth. "Ha!" Ningchen shouted, and the phoenix appeared behind him, spitting out the demon body. Immediately, the demon essence released by the demons before they exploded was absorbed into the demon body, speeding up its recovery. The demons were alarmed, and they kept attacking the yellow spring divine restriction. However, the profound sound penetrated their souls, and their power was restricted, making it difficult for them to use even 10 or 20%. The supreme phoenix essence was sublimated, and in the entire thousand devil nest, red light flickered. The phoenix that was reborn before nirvana, although its cultivation did not break through perfection, its foundation and bloodline were stronger than before, approaching atavism. King of hell divine zither's voice shook the world, and the phoenix's divine flames were dazzling. The most terrifying demon-slaying combination turned thousand devil nest into a purgatory, incinerating all demons. "All of you block the zither sound. I will break through this restriction." Just as the demons were about to perish, the strongest demon among them yelled in a deep voice. "Ah!" Before it finished speaking, several more demons were wiped out by the zither sound, and their demonic essence dispersed, sucked dry. Without any other choice, the demons forcefully used what little soul power they had left to form a barrier in front of the desolate demon, giving him time to prepare. Outside the divine restriction, Ningchen saw this, and his left hand streaked across the zither strings. Drops of phoenix blood dyed the zither red, and divine flames illuminated the world, transforming into a phoenix. King of hell silence, life and death is determined. With a thump, the zither sound waves spread out. In the thousand devil nest, heaven and earth darkened, and then there was a terrifying destruction. Wherever the phoenix-shaped zither sound waves passed, heaven and earth was destroyed. The demons groaned in unison. Black mist exploded and hundreds of demonic shadows dispersed. Demonic chi was sucked out and seeped into the body of the black-clothed figure floating in the void. "Block it!" Seeing Qin Bo's astonishing power among the devils, Desolate Devil bellowed and said angrily. Upon hearing this, all of the demons raised their soul power once more. Billowing demonic waves transformed into an inescapable net that forcefully obstructed the zither music. The phoenix screeched and flames curled up around it. It broke through the inescapable net and crashed into the 10,000 demons. Immediately, shrill cries filled the air. Demonic shadows exploded one after another, unable to withstand the power of the yang godly fire. 9 thoughts of divine transformation, 8 desolations of demons. The moment the extreme divine flame arrived, among the devils, Desolate Devil's devil essence was fully accumulated. With a deep shout, his devil might erupted. Demonic essence shook the phoenix fire. This was a direct confrontation between a god and a demon. Rumbling sounds echoed throughout the heavens and earth. The phoenix that had withstood tens of thousands of demons gradually dissipated in the demonic essence. Break for me. With the appearance of hope, Desolate Devil activated his soul force again, his devil essence sweeping out, smashing into the divine forbidden barrier in front of him. You can't come out. Ningchen snorted coldly. With a wave of his left hand, an illusory bell image appeared in the divine forbidden barrier. An incomparable pressure surged out, instantly destroying all the laws in the surroundings. The immortal bell appeared again. The demonic essence collided with it. With a violent tremor, the bell swayed. An unprecedented terror appeared. The bell waves vibrated, destroying the heavens and earth. Eastern Emperor Bell. Seeing the immortal bell that appeared in the void, Desolate Devil's pupils shrank as he cried out involuntarily. Who exactly are you? Why do you have the immortal artifact of the Lord of the Eastern Immortal World? If you want to know who I am, ask King Yama when you reach the underworld. She will tell you. Ning Chen's left hand slashed across the divine zither. Blood splattered as the phoenix fire ignited the prairie. The increasingly terrifying zither music surged out, passing through the divine forbidden barrier, and colliding with the immortal bell. Dong! The sound of the bell reverberated, destroying souls and taking lives. The terrifying might made Ning Chen, who was outside the divine forbidden barrier, feel a wave of restlessness in his blood. Inside the divine forbidden barrier, more and more demonic shadows exploded. Demonic aura surged violently, constantly entering the floating demonic bodies in the void. It was endless, like an endless abyss that could never be satisfied. Forced into a dead end, under the suppression of the soul-suppressing banner, the demons were unable to use their abilities. With the suppression of the immortal bell and the divine Guqin, the number of casualties increased. In less than an hour, out of the 10,000 demonic shadows, only a few thousand great demons were barely holding on. Use the forbidden technique. Death was near, and it was hard to reverse. Desolate Devil looked at the great demons and shouted. Without any more time to hesitate, the great demons made up their minds. With a shout, their demonic souls began to burn. Demonic soul sacrifice, life synchronization curse. The demon race's forbidden technique, life synchronization curse. One by one, the great demons burned their demonic souls, using their own soul essence as a sacrifice to curse the people outside. Outside the divine forbidden barrier, Ningchen suddenly staggered. His body ignited with a strange curse fire, and his vitality rapidly dissipated. The life synchronization curse was forbidden inside and outside the divine forbidden barrier. Thousands of great demons used their demonic souls as a sacrifice to curse knowing destiny, wanting to drag him into hell with them. With the 1,000-demon curse, Ning Chen felt a tearing pain all over his body. The hand that was playing the Guqin was bleeding profusely. Phoenix, let's go to hell together. Desolate Devil formed a seal, and the soul flames around him surged like waves. Boundless soul essence burned crazily. Outside the divine forbidden barrier, Ning Chen groaned. He had a splitting headache, and the vitality in his body dissipated even faster. I have been to hell several times. Now it is time to send you all there. Amidst the extreme pain, Ning Chen clenched his right hand. The phoenix behind him screeched, and a plain-clothed figure flew out and floated in front of him. I have plenty of vitality. With a shout, Ning Chen raised his hand and pressed it on his main body's chest. Devouring power spread out, rapidly extracting the vitality of his main body. In an instant, boundless vitality poured into his body, replenishing the vitality that was taken away by the 1,000-demon curse. Inside the divine forbidden barrier, the 1,000 demons were shocked. They looked at the phoenix's third body, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. In their memories, there were quite a number of experts who had mastered the doppelganger technique. However, there were very few people who could master all three bodies to such an extent. No, there is something wrong with that body of his. As the great demon's soul essence burned out, the shock in their eyes intensified. What was going on? Logically speaking, the phoenix's vitality should have been burned out long ago. Phoenix, do you really want to perish together with me? Among the demons, Desolate Demon suppressed the panic in his heart and shouted, Perish together? You are not qualified. Ning Chun endured the pain of his vitality being stripped away and said coldly, "What good will it do you to kill us? As long as you are willing to stop, we are willing to follow you forever." Sensing that their soul essence was almost exhausted, the demons panicked and said anxiously, "Give me your soul imprints, and I will spare your lives," Ning Chun said. "Impossible." Hearing the former's request, Desolate Demon's expression changed, and he said angrily, "Then go to hell." Ning Chun's eyes turned cold. His bloody left hand pulled the zither strings, and with a thump, he started the massacre again. The zither waves collided with the immortal bell, and an even more terrifying sound burst out. Several great demons could not withstand the immortal pressure, and their bodies exploded, forever disappearing from the world. "Submit or die," Ning Chun shouted again. With death in front of them, the demons did not dare to hesitate. They all knelt and offered their soul imprints. In the next moment, soul flames rose one after another and flew forward. Outside the divine restriction, Ning Chun raised his hand and grabbed the souls of the demons. His eyes looked at the only one who did not submit, and said coldly, "What about you?" Desolate Demon's eyes revealed a struggle. Looking at the demons kneeling in front and behind him, he was shocked and angry. "Speak, submit or die," Ning Chun shouted again. Desolate Demon's body trembled. While struggling in his heart, he still knelt down and offered his soul imprint. The soul flame flew out, and it was so bright. Ning Chun waved his hand and grabbed it. He looked at the demons kneeling in front of him and said calmly, "From today onwards, I am the monarch, and you are the ministers. If the monarch dies, the ministers die, the monarch will rise, and your names will shake the world." "Yes." The demons bowed and replied respectfully. Ning Chun walked forward and raised his hand to disperse the divine restriction. He said, "Who trapped you here?" 10,000 years ago, the heavenly Buddha, Lord of Shimi Buddha country," Desolate Demon replied. Hearing this, Ning Chun's eyes narrowed slightly. It was actually the Buddha country's lord. These great demons were not ordinary demons when they were alive. To be able to kill and suppress them here, that heavenly Buddha Lord's strength was truly unimaginably terrifying. After thinking for a moment, Ning Chun turned back and looked at the soul-subduing banner stuck in the stone wall. After thinking for a moment, his figure flashed and came forward. He raised his hand and touched it. The soul-subduing banner trembled, and an extremely strong repulsive force came. Ning Chun frowned, and phoenix flames rose around him, covering the demonic chi around him. Not far away, the demons looked forward nervously. They had been trapped in this thousand-devil nest for more than 10,000 years, unable to live or die. It was all because of this soul-subduing banner. In these 10,000 years, there were many people who wanted to pull out this banner, but they all failed. That heavenly Buddha Lord from 10,000 years ago was too strong. Almost no one could move a heavy artifact forged with Buddha blood. Outside the thousand-devil nest, the cold moon shone. Under the moon, a beautiful figure descended from the sky, holding a red umbrella, as graceful as a fairy. Moon Weaver appeared and looked at the thousand-devil nest in front of her, waiting quietly. A moment later, the ground inside and outside the thousand-devil nest began to rumble. Cracks appeared and spread out, reaching thousands of miles away. Buddhist light flourished in the cave. A startling, mysterious phenomenon shook everyone's heart. A person who slaughters Buddhas has been recognized by Buddha. How ironic! Feeling the waves of pressure coming from the thousand-devil nest, Moonweaver's face flashed with ridicule. Dozens of years ago, Marquis had gone to Buddha Mountain and seen Buddha. No one had expected this. Perhaps even the 3 Buddha lords of Buddha Mountain didn't think this blood-soaked youth could see Buddha. "Buddha, why did you acknowledge this person? When did the mercy of Buddhism begin to forgive an executioner who had committed heinous crimes?" Inside the Thousand Buddha cave, phoenix flames curled around the soul-subduing banner. The Buddhist light on the soul-subduing banner gradually weakened. The heavy Buddhist artifact that had suppressed the thousand-devil nest for 10,000 years flew into Jiming's hands. "Buddha, the person you recognize will eventually become a member of my devil palace. Your recognition is meaningless." Moonweaver sneered outside the cave. She didn't stay any longer and took a step forward, soaring into the sky. Chapter 823. The cold moon was desolate, and the devil's den was eerie. Around the red-clothed body, devil shadows coiled around, and devil chi surged, shocking everyone. Above the void, the devil body and the main body floated up and down. One was dressed in black, while the other was dressed in white. They had been sleeping for dozens of years, and had never woken up. Ning Chen stood in front, his left hand guiding the devil chi into the devil body, while his right hand condensed phoenix essence to repair the main body. Hours passed, and he did not rest for a moment. Behind him, thousands of great devils stood respectfully, and no one dared to disturb him. Outside the thousand devil nest, the cold moon moved west, and in the east a touch of white appeared. Dawn was coming, and day and night were alternating again. Master! Inside the devil's den, Desolate Devil bowed respectfully and said, "The sun is about to rise, and we do not have a physical body. Our strength will soon be suppressed, and we might not be able to provide Master with enough devil chi." "It's fine, it's enough." Ning Chen put down his left hand, and the surging devil chi disappeared. He turned to look at the devils and said calmly, "I will do my best to help you find your physical bodies. Now all of you can return to the soul-suppressing banner." "Thank you, Master." The devils accepted the order, and their figures turned into black chi and flew into the soul-suppressing banner. Ning Chen waved his hand, and kept the soul-suppressing banner. He looked at the two bodies floating in the void, and his eyes flashed with emotion. The phoenix had the ability to be reborn, but the devil body and the main body could not. It was not easy to restore the two bodies. "Master, our devil race's power and the phoenix's power are not compatible. If Master obtains these two powers at the same time, won't there be any rejection?" Inside the soul-suppressing banner, Desolate Devil was puzzled. "Yes." Ning Chen nodded and said, "Until now, I have not been able to fuse the devil body and the phoenix body's power together. However, I have cultivated the life scroll, and can change the nature of these two powers. I can barely suppress the repulsion of the devil and phoenix essence." "The beginning of the heavenly books, the life scroll?" Desolate Devil was shocked and said, "Why did Master not use the power of this scroll just now?" "The foundation of the life scroll was unparalleled. If Master used the power of this scroll, together with the suppression of the soul-suppressing banner and Xianyin, they would not even have the chance to resist. It's temporarily." Ning Chen looked at his main body floating in front of him and said, "Do you know where there is a large amount of life force? I need a lot of life force essence." After a long while, he opened his mouth and said, "We have been trapped here for too long, and do not understand the situation outside. However, the ones who occupy the most resources in the world are undoubtedly the top sects like Buddha Mountain Shumi and the Demon Palace. If Master wants to find the source of life, perhaps he can consider these places. Buddha Mountain, Devil Palace." Ning Chen's eyes narrowed as he muttered, "Master." Desolate Devil raised his voice and said solemnly, "If a man doesn't do it for himself, the heavens will destroy him. Meaningless kindness is useless. With Master's strength, as long as he is ruthless, it won't be difficult for him to fight for these resources." Ning Chen did not reply. The figure of a phoenix appeared behind him, swallowing the two bodies into its stomach. Soon after, it walked out of the thousand devil nest. Indeed, he did not like fighting. Perhaps it was because he was born this way, or perhaps it was because there was too much blood on his body, and he was already tired of it. However, when it was necessary, he would not be soft-hearted. "Master," Desolate Devil spoke again. "Say no more, I know what to do." Ning Chen walked out of the thousand devil nest, and looked at the rising sun in the east. He said, "Now come with me to do something." "What is it?" Desolate Devil asked. "Kill," Ning Chen said calmly. Desolate Devil was startled. He quieted down and did not say anything else. At the same time, in the all-heaven starfield, on the vast Buddha mountain in the Shimi Buddhist kingdom, white-clothed novice monks were meditating. They were holding prayer beads and chanting Buddhist scriptures day and night. At the moment when the sun rose from the east, a figure in a silver-gray cloak slowly walked over from the east. His starry eyes were sharp, and his noble and powerful aura was shocking. On the Buddha mountain, The heavenly, earthly, and human Buddhist masters sensed it. They opened their eyes and looked at the newcomer. A ray of light flashed past their eyes. That person had actually come. Ahead of them were white-clothed novice monks. The Dawn Moon Building's master walked past them. The surrounding golden Buddhist power could not touch her at all. Behind her, the veiled Hong Wuan followed silently. Dawn Moon Building's Mo Xiaowai pays his respects to the three Buddhist masters. The Dawn Moon Building's master stopped and greeted politely. Dawn Moon Building's master, we are honored by your presence. Please forgive us for not going out to welcome you. The human Buddhist master said calmly. The human Buddhist master is too courteous. I have come rashly and disturbed you. The Dawn Moon Building's master said with a smile. May I know why you have come from afar? The earthly Buddhist master asked. To see Buddha. The Dawn Moon Building's master answered honestly. Your status is extraordinary. Is there anything in the world that you cannot resolve? The human Buddhist master asked again. Several decades ago, the ninth son of the Mahist sect saw Buddha on the Buddha mountain. This matter is known to the world. I have admired it for a long time. Today, I have come to seek an audience. The Dawn Moon Building's master said calmly. You should know that Buddha is not someone you can meet just because you want to. If you are not fated, even if you can ascend the wishing mountain, you will not be able to see Buddha's face. The earthly Buddhist master replied. I have come with sincerity. I hope that the three Buddhist masters can make an exception. The Dawn Moon Building's master said seriously. What do you want to ask? The heavenly Buddhist master, who had been silent all this while, asked calmly. The fourth realm. The Dawn Moon Building's master replied. There are many inheritances in the world. The Hall of the Dead, the two lineages, and the four pavilions. None of them are weaker than the Buddha mountain. Why have you come to the Buddha mountain to inquire? The heavenly Buddhist master continued. Because the Buddha mountain is the only inheritance that has truly surpassed the third realm. The Dawn Moon Building's master replied honestly. Do you think that the Buddha of the Buddha mountain is the fourth realm? The heavenly Buddhist master asked slowly. The Dawn Moon Building's master shook her head and said, I have no intention of offending you. That day, the Buddha of the Buddha mountain appeared, and the world knew about it. I think that other than me, everyone would also want to know what the existence of Buddha represents. The heavenly Buddhist master was silent. After a while he said, Master, I am not deliberately making things difficult for you. You are different from the ninth son of the Mahist sect. It is almost impossible for you to see Buddha. Oh, the Dawn Moon Building's master's eyes flashed with surprise. She said, I would like to hear more. Your Excellency has interacted with the ninth son of Mahist many times. You should know very well that although he is stained with blood, he is actually a very sentimental person. More importantly, he has great merit that no one else has. Even our Buddha could not easily accept his worship. He came with sincerity and knelt with sincerity, so our Buddha had no choice but to meet him. Heavenly Buddha Lord replied. Hearing this, the Dawn Moon Building's master narrowed her eyes slightly. So that was the case. It seemed that it was not a coincidence that the Marquis of Jiming could see this Buddha of the Buddha mountain. Although she did not know how strong this Buddha of the Buddha mountain was. According to the heavenly Buddhist master's words, this Buddha could not easily accept the worship of the Marquis of Jiming. This meant that this Buddha could not turn a blind eye to the karma of the world. Thank you, Buddhas. Since I have no fate with Buddha, I will not disturb you any further. See you again someday. The Dawn Moon Building's master cupped her fists and said goodbye. Amitabha. Take care, master. The three Buddhas of heaven, earth, and man chanted together and said politely. The Dawn Moon Building's master nodded and did not stay any longer. She turned and left. Behind her, Hong Wuan stepped forward and followed, her beautiful eyes full of confusion. Master, why did you leave just like that? After leaving the Buddha mountain, Hong Wuan finally could not help but ask the question in her heart. The heavenly Buddhist master's meaning is very clear. This Buddha of the Buddha mountain will not appear easily. That time with the Marquis of Jiming was an exception. There is no point for us to stay any longer. The Dawn Moon Building's master said with a smile. Isn't Buddha supposed to help those who are fated? We came here with sincerity. Why didn't he even give us a chance to try? Hong Wan said with some dissatisfaction. Ha! The Dawn Moon Building's master chuckled and said, there are countless people in the world who are sincerely seeking Buddha. If Buddha had to meet every sincere person, the world would be in chaos. Therefore, it is only fair that we do not meet. Hearing this, Hong Wan was startled and fell silent. After the two left, at the peak of the Buddha mountain, the human Buddha master looked in their direction and said, Heavenly Buddhist Master, the Dawn Moon Building's master is an incredible person. If you can form a good relationship with her, it will be of great help to the Buddha mountain. The Heavenly Buddhist Master opened his eyes, and a little brilliance flashed in his eyes. He said, this person is different from the ninth son of the Mahis clan. The Dawn Moon Building's master is a businesswoman. She only weighs the pros and cons in her heart, not favors. A good relationship cannot be exchanged for anything. In the future, when the Buddha mountain is faced with a great disaster, the Dawn Moon Building's master will most likely choose to stand by and do nothing. She will not help wholeheartedly for a favor. What about the ninth son of the Mahis clan? What's different about him? Why did the Heavenly Buddhist Master treat him so differently? His actions in the ancient battlefield are enough to show that he is definitely a ruthless person, the Earth Buddha Master said, puzzled. Different? Heavenly Buddha Lord shook his head and said, it is not easy to make someone who does not believe in Buddhism kneel before Buddha. Although this boy is cruel, he is also very compassionate. The idea of the afterlife is illusory, and no one except for the people of Buddhism believes in it. This boy is willing to come to Buddha Mountain for a possibility that he himself does not believe in. It can be seen that the ninth son of Mahist is not as cold and heartless as the legends say. Moreover, the power of merit in him is unprecedented in this world. A person with such great merit must be very kind. Buddha Mountain will soon face a great calamity, and if this boy remembers the kindness of Buddha Mountain, he will definitely come back to help. The Earth Buddha Master and the Human Buddha Master heard this and looked thoughtful. Could it be that they were wrong? In the Red Wan Star region, white fog spread for tens of thousands of miles. In front of the white fog, a red-clothed figure appeared. After dozens of years, when she returned, she was covered in frost. At the edge of the star region, the Ingui clan, a famous sect in the Red Wan Star region, was covered in blood clouds and burning the sky. The red-clothed figure descended from the sky, abandoning the mercy of saving the world. Her body was surging with murderous intent, and her aura was so terrifying that it made people tremble. After today, the Ingui clan will be erased from the world. The trapping immortal fell and stabbed into the ground. Red light filled the sky, sealing the sky and locking the earth. In the next moment, the red-clothed figure slowly descended and stood on the sword. His black hair danced in the wind, and his cold and deep eyes did not have a trace of emotion. The phoenix moved and killed, and the people were plunged into misery and suffering. In the several halls of the Ingui clan, the heavenly concubines were shocked. They looked at the figure on the sword, and their bodies unconsciously trembled. It was him. Chapter 824. Ingui Sect's Phoenix descended, full of killing intent. Phoenix flames surged around its body, illuminating the sun and turning the entire horizon blood red. On Immortal Trapping Mountain, red light spread out, sealing off all paths of retreat. In the Ingui Sect's sacred palace, the Ingui Sect master opened her eyes, got up, and walked to the front of the sacred palace. Looking at the red-clothed figure descending from the sky in the distance, ripples flashed through her beautiful eyes. Is he the person Danji took away back then? Asked Ingui Sect Master. Master, it's him, replied Ingui Holy Maiden. Do you know who he is? Asked Ingui Sect Master coldly. Disciple doesn't know. Ingui Holy Maiden shook her head. Mogate's ninth son, said Ingui Sect Master coldly. Ingui Holy Maiden's body shook. Her eyes filled with disbelief. In front of Ingui Sect, the 7 holy maidens all moved out. Lutes, zither, swords, and other spiritual artifacts all displayed their might as they worked together to block the intruder. Back down. Ning Chen's expression turned cold. Genesis Supreme appeared in his right hand, and with a slash, an unparalleled sword might surged out, sending the 7 holy maidens flying. Ugh! There was no suspense. With the absolute difference in strength, the 7 holy maidens were sent flying with a single slash. Ningchen strode past them, not giving them another glance as he walked toward Ingui Sect Master's sacred hall. Ingui Sect Master took a step forward, her body like a startled swan. Her palm was surrounded by an aura as it slammed towards the person in front of her. Ningchen's figure shot out, his sword opening the gate of heaven. He did not dodge, directly receiving the attack. Ultimate martial dazzling world was incomparably sharp. The sword light slashed apart the pink aura and sent the woman flying with a boom. Ingui Sect Master retreated several steps. Blood dripped from her jade-white arm, dyeing her gauze dress red. Mogate's 9th son, my Ingui Sect has no enmity with you. Why must you be so ruthless? Ingui Sect Master looked at the red-clothed youth in front of her. Ningchen did not speak. Genesis Supreme spun in his right hand, shining with dazzling azure light. An abnormally powerful sword pressure spread, and his killing intent flourished. Ingui Sect Master's expression darkened as anger flashed across her charming face. She circulated her true essence, and stirred the Yin Qi between heaven and earth, to gain the initiative by striking first. She was surrounded by a pink mist that could arouse one's desires. The Ingui Sect's secret technique, the art of seduction, was directed toward the knowing destiny state. Sword art chaotic nothingness. Ningchen brandished his sword, and nothing seemed out of the ordinary. However, wherever the sword light passed, its power could devour the heavens and destroy the earth. The pink powder couldn't stop it, and they were all devoured. Ingui Sect Master blocked the attack, but with a muffled groan, he retreated several steps. The gap between them was indescribable. She was the sect master of a sect, a beauty that could topple the world, and a famous true realm expert. But at this moment, she seemed so insignificant that she couldn't even control her own life. Sword art extreme heaven. Genesis Supreme moved once more, and the winds and clouds of the 9 heavens shifted. Extreme sword might swept out from Ningchen's body, and the heavens instantly changed color. The space for 100 li around him became a domain of the sword, and with a single slash, the heavens split open. Ingui Sect Master's expression changed dramatically, and a look of fear appeared on her devastatingly beautiful face. She pushed her true essence to the limit, and blocked the sword power falling from the sky. Arg! With a mournful groan, the sword light pierced through her body, bringing out a beautiful waterfall of blood. Ingui Sect Master's chest was bleeding profusely, and he retreated again and again. Femme fatale, an extremely beautiful woman, in front of absolute power, couldn't change her fate. The blood that spilled on the ground was so dazzling and beautiful. Heavily injured, Ingui Sect Master's knees involuntarily fell to the ground, and he coughed with difficulty. Young master, please show mercy. Ingui Sect is willing to submit. Ingui Sect Saintess also knelt down and said in fear, no need. Ningchen's gaze swept across the pill room not far away, and he said, I've already said that after today, Ingui Sect will disappear from the world forever. You can all be buried with Morong. With that, Genesis Supreme swept across Ningchen's hand, and an indescribable sword pressure rapidly spread out. The sword light was dazzling, illuminating the world. Feeling the terrifying sword pressure from the former, Ingui Sect Master's pupil shrank, and he forcefully supported his heavily injured body and thrust out a palm, wanting to stop the sword move from being born. However, it was already too late. Under the terrifying sword pressure, streaks of sword light appeared out of thin air, shaking off the palm power, and its power rose to the extreme. 6 Daos fall, myriad demonic tribulations, supreme forbidden sword. With a step, he entered the 9 heavens, followed by tens of thousands of swords. The swords that covered the sky converged into a terrifying sword storm, as if it was the end of the world, and the world mourned. Doomsday calamity. The calamity appeared, and the tens of thousands of swords rumbled down. The sky sank, and the earth was destroyed. The sword light destroyed everything within several hundred li of Ingui Sect, and large cracks appeared. Waves of dust surged, and the bottom couldn't be seen. Rumble. With a loud sound, several halls of Ingui sect collapsed, completely becoming history. Blood flowed from the cracks, and the spiritual energy of the collapsed divine weapons gradually dissipated. The enchanting beauty also turned into a skeleton. This life and death hatred finally ended with destruction. In the sky, Ning Chen's figure slowly descended. He clenched his right hand, and not far away, the immortal trapping sword flew back. The red light that filled the sky dissipated, and the sealed world also returned to normal. Their remaining power belongs to you, Ning Chen said indifferently. Many thanks, master. The great devils flew out of the soul-suppressing banner and scattered, beginning to devour the remaining power of Ingui sect's women. Half an hour later, the great devils flew back into the soul-suppressing banner. Ning Chen walked out of Ingui sect, and after 100 steps, he turned back and slashed down. The earth rumbled, and all the corpses on the ground were swallowed up. There was so much hatred when they were alive, but after death, all of it returned to dust. This sword was the final respect for the dead. Not long after Ning Chen left, 4 figures descended from the sky above Ingui sect's ruins. The man in the lead was dressed like a scholar, and he held a folding fan. He was Heaven Mending Pavilion's current martial leader, Qi Wenju. I'm late. Qi Wenju looked down at the completely destroyed Ingui sect, and said coldly, just who was it that had such terrifying strength? We rushed over as soon as we received the news, but we still couldn't make it in time. A Grand Elder of Heaven Mending Pavilion said. It was Mo Gate's 9th son. Qi Wenju looked at the sword intent that still hadn't scattered. The other 3 were shocked. Was it that youth that had slaughtered the ancient battlefield? Martial leader, what should we do? Asked the Grand Elder of Heaven Mending Pavilion. Qi Wenju was silent. After a moment he slowly said, chase after him. If we can lure him to Heaven Mending Pavilion, then that's the best. If we can't, then kill him. The 3 nodded. One of the women said, Qi Feiyin's death is most likely caused by this child. It's best to bring him back alive, and give Pavilion Master an explanation. We'll act according to the circumstances. Qi Wenju's expression became serious, and he said, you all have to be careful. Don't underestimate him. This child's strength is extraordinary. Even if you all join hands, you won't be able to take advantage of him. Once you fight, you have to attack with all your strength. Don't give him a chance to counterattack. We understand, the 3 replied. After the discussion, the 4 moved, rushing towards the sword Qi and Phoenix flames. 100 li away, Ning Chen was walking alone. He didn't feel any danger. Suddenly his eyes narrowed, and he looked back. Brother, please wait. As he spoke, 4 people appeared behind him. Qi Wenju was the first to speak. It's you. Ning Chen narrowed his eyes. He hadn't expected to meet Wu Kuei of Heaven Mending Pavilion so soon. Brother Ning, where are you going? Why don't you come to my Heaven Mending Pavilion for a chat? After the Battle of the Nether Hall, I didn't have time to invite you to my Heaven Mending Pavilion. Qi Wenju smiled. There's no need. I still have matters to attend to, said Ning Chen calmly. Meeting each other is fate. There is no need for Brother Ning to be so distant. This place is not far from my Heaven Mending Pavilion. Drinking a cup won't take up too much of Brother Ning's time. Qi Wenju said with a sincere expression. A straightforward person doesn't resort to insinuations. If you don't have anything else, then I'll take my leave first. Ning Chen didn't want to say anything more, so he turned around and left. Was it you who destroyed the Ingui sect? Qi Wenju's expression sank. Yes, said Ning Chen. What about Qi Feiyin? Was it you who killed him? Qi Wenju's expression became even colder. Yes, said Ning Chen. You really don't want to refute a single word, snorted Qi Wenju. It was me. What's there to refute? Said Ning Chen indifferently. If that's the case, then there's no need to say anything more. Kill. With a command, the 3 venerables Mending Tian attacked first. Their palms were as boundless as the ocean, and in the blink of an eye, they had already arrived in front of Ning Chen. They had already prepared for this, so they attacked with all their might without any mercy. Ning Chen's eyes narrowed. He stepped forward, and his figure became like an illusion as he dodged the first wave of attacks. Just as he was about to counterattack, a folding fan swept past him like a divine weapon. Huh! Ning Chen's figure turned, and he dodged the attack again. Before he could use his sword, the three venerables mending Tian's palms arrived once again. Their tacit cooperation was flawless. Even someone as strong as a life-knowing expert was caught in a dilemma. Ning Chen's steps turned, and he dodged the attacks again and again. His expression became colder and colder. I didn't come for you, but you came for me first. Then leave your lives behind. The phoenix appeared, and the green cauldron appeared, blocking the three venerables' palms. In the blink of an eye, Taisher appeared in Ning Chen's hand. Sword chi surged like waves, and a sword split the sky. Seeing this, Qi Wenju's expression changed slightly. His figure flashed, and a white light rose from his folding fan, blocking the sword light. With a boom, the sword light dissipated. Qi Wenju also took half a step back, and his blood and qi surged. Commotion current. His opponent's ability was beyond his expectations. Qi Wenju did not dare to delay any longer. He used his most powerful move, and waves surged behind him. Immediately, the waves reached the sky, and a majestic aura swept out, pressing down on the people in front of him. Sword technique Prairie Fire. Waves surged and phoenix flames rose. Ning Chen's sword appeared, and flames burned the world. The two opposing forces collided, and an indescribably terrifying shockwave spread out. The wasteland's landscape changed instantly, and everything was scorched. With a muffled groan, Qi Wenju took a few steps back from the shockwave. Blood dripped from the corner of his mouth. The art of water and fire was half a move behind. On the other side, the three venerables mending Tian were also affected. They took a few steps back, and barely managed to stabilize their bodies. I will go to the mending Tian pavilion you speak of, but only after I send you on your way. Ning Chen walked out from the mist that filled the sky. He looked at the four people in front of him and said coldly, Chapter 825. The situation in the wilderness had changed. Martial Chief Butian was defeated by half a move, and the three venerables were also affected. The situation immediately became dangerous. Ning Chen's body moved, and sword light crisscrossed. An unshakable power erupted, splitting the heavens and the seas. It even cut open a huge black hole in the void. The three venerables were shocked. They joined hands to block the sword light in front of them. With a loud bang, blood splashed everywhere. The three venerables were forced to retreat, unable to block the extreme power. Don't fight head-on. You are not his match. Qi Wenju forcefully suppressed her injuries and said. The three venerables stabilized their bodies and slightly nodded. Looking at the red-clothed youth in front of them, their eyes were filled with fear. Qi Wenju, you guys are really in a difficult situation. At this moment, thunder rumbled in the sky, and a purple-clothed man appeared. His powerful aura was surging, and he did not lose out to anyone present. Right, Protector? Seeing the newcomer, the three venerables' expressions shook. Jiang Yun, why are you here? Qi Wenju looked at the purple-clothed man with a serious expression. Pavilion Master was worried that something would happen to you guys, so he sent me to help. I didn't think that he would really predict it. Jiang Yun's gaze swept over the red-clothed youth and said, Is this Mahas Sect's ninth disciple? A dragon among enlightened masters? You actually made my heaven-mending pavilion's three venerables, and one martial chief suffer such a huge loss. You praise me too much. Ning Chen held his sword and looked at the man in front of him. Right, Protector, did you come to help? If so, can I take action now? Sorry for making you wait. Please. Jiang Yun's face flashed with a faint smile. Just as he finished speaking, purple thunder rumbled, and a purple-clothed figure flashed. A ferocious palm carrying the power of thunder whistled through the air. Ning Chen held his sword horizontally, and the tip of his sword blocked the thunder. With a loud bang, his figure moved back half a step before stopping. However, his sword's momentum did not stop, and he continued to slash forward. Jiang Yun's right palm formed a fist, and with a loud bang, he forcefully blocked the sword's tip. The two extreme powers collided, and a miserable scene appeared. The two figures were both forced back several steps, and it was difficult to tell who was stronger. Sword technique. Genesis Supreme swung his sword, and just as he was about to unleash his sword technique, the folding fan flew through the air. The heaven-mending martial art had joined the battle to slay Emogate's ninth son. Ning Chen narrowed his eyes and turned his sword around. With a loud bang, he slashed at the person who had sneak attacked him from behind. Sword and palm collided. One had a boundless sword intent, while the other had an extraordinary cultivation base. As the two techniques collided, the aftershock was like a raging torrent that was earth-shattering. The moment his aura was about to collapse, the three venerables mending Tian joined hands to attack. Their mountain-toppling and ocean-overturning true essence pressed down with astonishing might. Ning Chen frowned. He took a step forward, and his silhouette flickered. In an instant, he appeared behind the three venerable lords, and swung his sword mercilessly. In that moment of crisis, purple lightning surged. Jiang Yun appeared to block the attack. With his powerful cultivation, he blocked the deadly sword light. Three venerables mending Tian, Wuxia, and the right protector joined forces to launch a killing attack. They were determined to kill the 9 disciples of the Mahist sect. The battle reached its climax, and it was difficult to determine the victor. Knowing destiny, who had the extreme speed of heaven and earth, and the extreme way of the sword, displayed his battle prowess to the extreme. Red light shone around him, making him look like an undefeatable war god. The 5 of them took turns to fight. Knowing destiny's martial soul shone with sword light. His palms moved and birds screamed. His sword moved, and the yellow springs opened a path. As they crossed, the setting sun shone magnificently, causing the sky to lose its color. Sword technique Heavenly Dragon Shock. A sword soared into the sky, and the dragon roared. Ning Chen swung his sword, and an azure dragon coiled around the sword and charged forward. Qi Wenju opened her folding fan to block the attack. The azure dragon sword Qi passed through the folding fan and entered her body. With a muffled groan, blood flowed from the corner of Wu Kuei's mouth. He was forced to retreat, and his injuries were not light. In the blink of an eye, the red clothes disappeared. When they reappeared, the afterimages looked real. 2 sharp sword lights broke through the sky, and forced back the 3 venerables mending Tian, and the right protector. The extreme speed of heaven and earth, and the unshakable extreme way of the sword gradually turned the situation around. Ha! Not allowing the situation to change, Jiang Yun shouted. Purple lightning filled the sky. Above the clouds rolled, and thunder covered the setting sun. Lightning devour heaven. Purple lightning fell from the sky, swallowing the sky and destroying the earth. Its vigorous and overbearing power destroyed all the laws between heaven and earth. When the lightning passed, the whole space and time turned into nothingness. A huge black ravine appeared, extending for thousands of zhang. Sword technique. Seeing this, Ning Chen's figure flew out. He did not dodge, and his sword defied the heavens and met the attack head-on. Nothing. Blood-colored sword light swallowed up the boundless space. Lightning fell, and the 2 extremes collided. The aftermath surged, and the surrounding heaven and earth turned into chaos. The aftermath dissipated, and the laws of space and time were gradually restored. However, the collapsed terrain could not be restored, and it completely changed. Jiang Yun, Qi Wenju, and the 3 venerables mending Tian looked at the red-clothed youth in front of them. Their expressions were extremely grave. They knew that the 9th disciple of Emogate was powerful, but they did not expect him to be so powerful. It had not even been 100 years since the battle of the ancient battlefield. This child's growth speed was just too fast. Everyone, if this is all you have, you will not be able to return today. As soon as he finished speaking, Ning Chen let out a soft shout. Blood qi rolled around his body, and his black hair turned red. He was the Phoenix ancestral awakening. A terrifying pressure spread out. In the next instant, the red clothes disappeared, and when they reappeared, the sword light broke through the sky. Arg! An extremely painful groan rang out. Blood spurted out from the chest of a heaven-mending pavilion's supreme elder. A terrifying sword wound extended from his left shoulder to his right rib. It was a ghastly sight, and it made people feel fear. The speed and sword intent increased once again. Jiang Yin, Qi Wenju, and the other two heaven-mending pavilion's supreme elders did not even have time to attack. The sword fell, and one of them died. Woo woo! Without having time to say anything, the body of the heaven-mending pavilion's ninth supreme elder slowly fell down. With a thump he smashed into the ground. Whether it was unwillingness or regret, at this moment, it was already too late. You deserve to die. Jiang Yin was furious. His figure flashed, and lightning surged all over his body. The phantom of a lightning beast appeared, and its power could swallow the heavens. Ning Chen's eyes focused. His sword aura changed, and the phantom of a phoenix appeared, blocking the former. The divine beasts collided. The god of fire and the supreme being of lightning faced each other head-on. The cry of the phoenix and the roar of thunder shook the heaven and earth, and everything collapsed. On the other side, Qi Wenju condensed her energy. Raging waves surged, and a huge phantom of a sea beast appeared. The power of laws reached its peak. Sword technique Dragon Phoenix Burial. The raging waves arrived. Ning Chen stepped back and waved his sword. The dragon and phoenix cried as they collided with the sea beast. An indescribable might appeared. The dragon and phoenix swallowed the sea beast, and the raging waves collapsed. Qi Wenju let out a muffled groan, and a bloody mist spurted out from her chest. The seventh and eighth supreme elders of the heaven-mending pavilion rushed forward and took over the battle once again. Their true essence was pushed to the limit, and they slapped towards the former's chest. Since you're in such a hurry to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Ning Chen's expression became cold. He clenched his left hand, and a white rainbow appeared. The soft sword spun 100 times and wrapped around the two's arms. The two supreme elders' expressions changed. They revolved their true essence to try and break free from the white rainbow, but it was already too late. Taisher's killing intent flashed past. It was incomparably cold. The heads of the two supreme elders flew up, and their blood dyed the setting sun red. Behind them, Jiang Yin and Qi Wenju were both shocked and angry. They wanted to stop him, but they were powerless. Now that no one is bothering you, you two can continue. Ning Chen's gaze shifted to the two strongest people in front of him, and said coldly, "Retreat." Seeing that it was impossible to kill this brat, Jiang Yin made a prompt decision and said. Qi Wenju was startled, but she soon came back to her senses. Without any hesitation, she took a step back and retreated. Jiang Yin flipped his palm, and 1,000 layers of purple lightning converged. He sent out a palm and quickly left. Ning Chen waved his sword to disperse the purple lightning. His calm eyes looked in the direction the two left in, and he did not chase after them. These two were not weak. If he wanted to eliminate them, it would not be an easy task. Master, the sun had completely set. Within the soul-subduing banner, many great demons were restless. Ning Chen nodded and agreed to the demons' request. The demons were overjoyed. They flew out of the soul-subduing banner and swallowed the 3 supreme elders of the heaven-mending pavilion, who had died in battle not far away. Not long after, the remaining origin energy of the 3 supreme elders of the heaven-mending pavilion was swallowed by the demons. Ning Chen waved his sword and cut open the ground, burying the 3 supreme elders. Master, this heaven-mending pavilion was one of the 11 strongest inheritances in the world. Perhaps they have the life origin energy that Master needs. On the side, Desolate Demon's figure appeared and reminded him. Ning Chen nodded and said, "In your era, did this heaven-mending pavilion have a 4th realm?" "Yes, and there was more than one." Desolate Demon nodded and said, "Among the 4 pavilions, other than the Sword Pavilion's strength, the other 3 pavilions were about the same. 10,000 years ago, the heaven-mending pavilion had 2 4th realm cultivators with terrifying strength. However, that was 10,000 years ago, and no one could live for 10,000 years. Those 2 should have already fallen by now." "Not necessarily." Ning Chen shook his head and said, "You guys are the best examples." Desolate Demon was startled, and immediately explained, "We are demons, and we are different from humans." Moreover, the power of the laws in the Thousand Devil Nest was suppressed by the soul-subduing banner, forged by the heavenly Buddha Lord. While we lost our freedom, we were able to barely survive until today. Master. At this moment, a great demon opened his mouth and handed over a green pearl. He said, "This is something we obtained from those 3 people. Perhaps it will be useful to Master." Ning Chun received the pearl and swept his gaze over it. A strange look flashed through his eyes. It seemed like he really had to make a trip to the heaven-mending pavilion. His demonic body had already obtained enough demonic qi and would wake up sooner or later. However, the life source that his main body needed was too terrifying. If he did not take action against a great sect like the heaven-mending pavilion, his main body might never have the chance to wake up. Master. Desolate demon opened his mouth again. "Don't rush. We don't have enough strength right now, and we need help," Ning Chun said calmly. "Master, why don't you try to break into the immortal treading realm? Once you break through, Master's strength will definitely increase greatly." Desolate demon was puzzled. "It's not that I don't want to, but that I can't do it yet. In these past few years, as my strength increased, the power of laws bestowed upon the Dragon Gate by the heavens also became stronger and stronger. I have too much karma on my body, and there is no chance of failure. As long as I try to break through, I must succeed on the first try. Otherwise, I will forever be suppressed under the Dragon Gate, never to rise again," Ning Chun said. Desolate demon was silent and did not say anything else. Treading into the immortal treading realm was not too difficult for them. But he never thought that it would be so dangerous when it came to Master. "Let's go. Since we've returned to the Red Luan Star region, how can we not see that black-hearted merchant? Perhaps the helper I need can find the answer from him." After speaking, Ning Chun did not delay any further. His figure flashed, and he transformed into a phoenix as he flew towards the east of the star region. Chapter 826. Jinsi City, Danmun Chang'an. In front of a luxurious restaurant, pedestrians came and went, and it was unusually lively. When it was noon, Ning Chun strode over and walked straight into the restaurant. On the stage on the first floor, there was singing and dancing. Enchanting dancers were dancing on the stage, charming people. Not far away, behind the counter, the shopkeeper was sitting there in boredom. He didn't seem to be happy about the good business in the restaurant. "Shopkeeper." Ning Chun walked forward and smiled. "Long time no see." The shopkeeper came back to his senses. Seeing the person in front of him, he suddenly quivered and said, "Brother Ning." It's been 100 years, but the shopkeeper is still as elegant as before. "Where's the owner and Miss Hong Wan? Are they not here?" Ning Chun smiled. "The owner and Miss Hong Wan have been out for many days. I don't know when they will return," the shopkeeper said honestly. Hearing this, Ning Chun revealed a trace of regret. "So they really weren't here. What a pity. Brother Ning, are you looking for the owner? Do you need me to pass on the message?" the shopkeeper asked. Ning Chun hesitated and shook his head. "No need. Since the owner isn't here, I will find someone else." "There's no need to find someone else. How can I not be here when there's business?" While speaking, the owner of Danmun Tower, who was wearing a silver-gray cloak, walked in. Behind her, Hong Luan wore a veil that covered her face. Only her eyes were exposed. They were so beautiful that people couldn't help looking at them. Owner Miss Hong Luan. Seeing the two of them, Ning Chun politely bowed and greeted. "Brother Ning, please go to the second floor. Hong Luan, prepare tea." The owner of Danmun Tower said softly. "Yes." Hong Luan respectfully responded, and went to prepare the tea with light steps. Ning Chun followed the owner of Danmun Tower to the second floor. The door opened and the two of them walked in. "Brother Ning, you haven't been here for a long time, right?" the owner of Danmun Tower asked. 100 years. Ning Chun's gaze swept across the room that hadn't changed inside. 100 years. I didn't expect Brother Ning to still be alive. Indeed, good people don't live long, but bad people live for 1,000 years. The owner of Danmun Tower smiled. Ning Chun smiled and said, "Since I've survived, I have to finish what I started back then. Tower Master, I'm here to ask for your help." As for the price, we can discuss it. Brother Ning, please speak. The Dawn Moon brothel master sat down at the table and said. At this time, outside the room, Hong Wuan walked in with a cup of tea. She placed the tea in front of them and softly said, Building Master, young Master Ning, please have some tea. Thank you, Miss Hong Wuan, Ning Chen said with a smile. His attention returned to the negotiation, and he said seriously, Tower Master, if I were to become enemies with Heaven Mending Pavilion, what are my chances of winning? 10%. The Dawn Moon Pavilion's master narrowed her eyes as she replied. Oh, Ning Chen chuckled and said, I thought the OP would say 0. The Waning Moon Tower master picked up the teacup and took a sip before saying, I would say 0 to others, but to Brother Ning, this Tower Master will hold back a bit. Many thanks for the Tower Master's praise. I came to ask for the Tower Master's help. Together, we can attack Heaven Mending Pavilion, Ning Chen said with a smile. Brother Ning, if I didn't understand your character, I would have thought that you have gone crazy. The Dawn Moon brothel master said with a serious expression. Why do you have such thoughts? Don't tell me you don't know how terrifying these great sects that have been passed down since ancient times are? It is because I know that I made this decision, Ning Chen said softly. I need a large amount of life force. In this world, most of these resources are occupied by the great sects that have been passed down since ancient times. The more powerful the great sects are, the more resources they have. Now that I have shed all pretense of cordiality with Heaven Mending Pavilion, of course I have to start with them. This business is not easy to do. The Dawn Moon Tower Master did not beat around the bush and said directly, the Dawn Moon Tower and Heaven Mending Pavilion have always minded their own business. Once this Tower Master makes a move, it means that I am going against Heaven Mending Pavilion. This is not a wise move. Just because it is not a wise move does not mean that it is impossible. Heaven Mending Pavilion is indeed powerful. But if we can destroy it, the rewards will be equally great, Ning Chen said. Brother Ning's assumption is after we destroy Heaven Mending Pavilion. However, our biggest problem is how to destroy this colossus. If we fail, what will the consequences be? The Dawn Moon Tower Master said indifferently. What does the Tower Master want? Ning Chen said calmly. The Dawn Moon Tower Master looked at the tea in her hand. After a while she said, Forbidden Time, Heaven and Earth Twin Scrolls, and a promise from Brother Ning. Ning Chen's eyes narrowed and said, The Tower Master's conditions are truly exorbitant. If the price is too high, then the conditions will naturally be a bit harsh. Moreover, this Tower Master needs to invite some friends. This will take a lot of effort, the Dawn Moon Tower Master replied. Deal. Ning Chen nodded and said, How long does the Tower Master need to prepare? 3 months. The Dawn Moon Tower Master replied. However, once an old monster of the 4th level appears in Heaven Mending Pavilion, we must immediately retreat. The Tower Master believes that there is a 4th level in Heaven Mending Pavilion? Ning Chen said with a serious expression. Whether there is or not, no one knows. The Dawn Moon Tower Master said calmly. Right now, the experts who have reached the true realm are all looking for a way to enter the 4th level. However, no one has succeeded yet. However, the 4th level did exist 10,000 years ago. If they are still alive today, then it is not a good thing. Ning Chen faintly nodded and said, I have always had this suspicion as well. This is a good chance to verify it. However, even if the 4th level does exist, they shouldn't be able to easily make a move. 10,000 years cannot be easily passed, so they must have paid a great price. The Dawn Moon Tower Master put down the teacup in her hand and faintly smiled. Brother Ning, this time, this Tower Master is betting everything with you. If I lose, the Dawn Moon Tower will change its surname to Ning Chen's. Heh. Ning Chen lightly laughed and said, The riskier the gamble, the more shocking the rewards. This huge gamble is worth it. In these 3 months, Brother Ning should also be prepared. This Tower Master does not want to lose the opportunity to collect the rewards before they are paid, the Dawn Moon Tower Master indifferently said. Ning Chen nodded and stood up. Don't worry, Tower Master. This one has just returned from the gates of hell, and does not want to return so soon. In 3 months, this one will pay a visit again and present the rewards. After speaking, Ningchen did not stay any longer. He nodded towards Hongwuan and immediately turned around to leave. After the door was closed, the Dawn Moon Tower Master silently sat in front of the table with a teacup in her hand. Thoughts continuously flashed through her eyes. Tower Master, are you really going to attack the Heaven Mending Pavilion? Hongwuan revealed a worried expression as she asked. Yes, the Dawn Moon Tower Master nodded and said. For 10,000 years, the structure of this world has remained unchanged. It is time for a change. Also, he truly wanted to know if these great sects had the secret of the 4th level. The knowledge Marquis' suggestion was indeed crazy, but he was extremely interested. In Mo Planet, on the ruins of the former Mo clan, on the destroyed Legacy Peak, Hongyi walked over. Looking at the once flourishing Mo clan, a trace of emotion flashed through her eyes. On the Legacy Peak, Ningchen stopped for a moment before walking towards the distant 9th peak. On the 9th peak, the autumn wind was bleak. Under the setting sun, it was a desolate scene. The wooden house in front of the bamboo forest had already been destroyed by the aftermath of the battle on Legacy Peak. Ningchen walked forward step by step and stood there for a long time. Suddenly, his expression shook, and he abruptly looked towards the 8th peak. In the distance, a familiar aura was so clear. Ningchen returned to his senses and took a step forward, rushing towards the 8th peak. On the 8th peak, rocks were scattered everywhere. A beautiful figure in silver clothes and silver hair stood there silently. Her eyes were lost and her figure was abnormally blurry. 8th senior sister. Ningchen took a step forward and called out. The woman turned her head and looked at the person who came. Her eyes were still lost, and she did not recognize the person before her. Seeing the former's blurry figure, Ningchen's heart was in turmoil. What happened to the soul body? Who are you? Who am I? Where is this place? Ling Luozhen asked in confusion. You don't remember? Ningchen suppressed the shock in his heart and said, This is Mo clan. You are Ling Luozhen, the master of the 8th peak of Mo clan. I am Ningchen, your 9th junior brother. Mo clan? 9th junior brother? Ling Luozhen softly muttered. Her soul body flickered and showed signs of instability. Ningchen's expression changed slightly. He took a step forward and condensed essence with his sword finger, stabilizing her soul body. Master, this person's soul seems to have been here for a long time. It is extremely damaged and cannot be exposed to the laws of heaven and earth. Otherwise, it will dissipate quickly. Desolate demon reminded from the soul-suppressing banner. Ningchen nodded. The phoenix image appeared behind him, and red light spread out, swallowing the woman's soul. After doing this, Ningchen scanned the other peaks with his divine sense, and did not find anything abnormal. In the west, the sun gradually set. When night fell, Ningchen summoned the thousands of great demons in the soul-suppressing banner and said, In these 3 months, I have to do my best to awaken the demon body. I need your help. We will follow Master's arrangements. With Desolate Demon as the leader, the great demons responded in unison. Ningchen nodded and said, I will lay down the yellow springs and time restriction to help you resist the influence of the laws of heaven and earth. You can use your demonic essence to help me. 3 months should be enough. Yes. The demons respectfully accepted the order. Ningchen waved his hand, and the immortal trapping appeared and sank into the ground. In the next moment, red light filled the sky and sealed the sky. The aura of the yellow springs and time restriction circulated. The power of the divine restriction sealed in the immortal sword appeared, causing the surrounding time to almost stop. The phoenix screamed. The black-clothed demon body flew out and floated in the void. Demonic chi lingered around it, and its aura was abnormally powerful. Let's begin. Ningchen looked at the demons and ordered. Yes. The demons accepted the order and released their demonic essence. Boundless energy spread out and merged with the demon body in the void. Ningchen took a step forward and raised his hand to condense essence. Phoenix fire rose and entered the demon body, helping it to refine the different demonic essence that the demons poured in. Outside the divine restriction, time passed bit by bit. The cold moon rose in the east, and then set in the west. The passage of time had never changed because of anyone. 1 day, 2 days. Within the divine restriction, the demons and red specters worked together to awaken their demon bodies, preparing for the upcoming great battle. At the same time on Shinji Peak, the space shook amidst the red maple leaves that filled the sky. The Dawn Moon Tower's master appeared, and looked at the man in luxurious purple clothes in front of her. Divine secret, it's time for you to come out. Chapter 827. On the 8th peak of Emo Gate, trapping immortal floated up and down, borrowing the power of Emo Gate's underground spirit vein to protect the divine restriction and resist the laws of heaven and earth. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, more than half of 3 months had passed. Within the divine restriction, Ningchen still hadn't walked out. The entire 8th peak was abnormally quiet, and one could even hear a pin drop. The sun set and the moon rose, and the sun rose again. Day after day, the agreed deadline was getting closer and closer. Finally, there was a slight movement within the divine restriction. With Desolate Demon as the leader, thousands of demons sacrificed day and night. Endless demonic energy surged into the demon's body, helping it recover. Behind the demon, Ning Chen's phoenix fire burned around him, swallowing the demon's body to refine his demonic energy. The time and space that was close to being frozen had already passed for an unknown amount of time. Thousands of demons sacrificed for many days, and their soul energy was gradually drying up. In the void, the black figure floating up and down had already solidified, and the unusually powerful demonic energy fluctuation around him was even stronger than before. On the 8th peak, the sky darkened again, and the sun set. At the moment when day and night alternated, the demon's eyes slowly opened in the divine restriction. In an instant, an extremely terrifying pressure spread out, and thousands of demons were all sent flying. Ning Chun retracted his hand, and the phoenix fire around him disappeared. He glanced at the demons and said, "Thank you for your hard work." The demons bowed their heads, and immediately turned into flowing light that entered the soul-suppressing banner, and began to sleep. The main body still can't wake up. I need your help. Ning Chun looked at the demon in front of him and said. The demon stood there quietly, and his aura gradually retracted. There was no fluctuation in his eyes that were like an abyss. The ghost girl has woken up, but the situation is not right. Our mission is not over yet. The main body is with us, and if something happens to him, we will also disappear. We have to wake him up as soon as possible. Ning Chun looked at the demon in front of him, raised his right hand, and said seriously, I need your power. The demon was silent. After a long time, he also raised his right hand. The moment the two bodies touched, a powerful airflow shook. After 100 years, the two bodies merged again. After a few breaths, Ningchen opened his eyes, waved his hand to disperse the divine restriction around him, and walked out. On the ground, trapping immortal flew up and turned into a flowing light. The phoenix manifested and swallowed the immortal sword. Jinsi City Dawn Moon Chang'an. On the second floor, Dawn Moon Tower Master took off her light green casual clothes and put on a silver-gray cloak. The shrewdness of a merchant disappeared and was replaced by the extraordinary temperament of a peerless master. Hong Wuan, stay behind and look after the Dawn Moon House. You don't have to go this time. After changing her clothes, the Dawn Moon Tower's master instructed. Yes. Hong Wuan responded softly and respectfully accepted the order. Tower Master, young Master Ning is already waiting downstairs. Outside the room, the shopkeeper knocked on the door and reported. Understood. I will go down immediately. The waning moon brothel mistress responded. She waved her hand and took the wooden box on the table before walking out of the room. On the first floor, Ning Chun was sitting by the window and drinking tea quietly. When he saw the man coming down, he put down his tea and stood up to ask, Can we go now? The waning moon tower master nodded and said, Sure. Sorry for making brother Ning wait. Please. Ning Chun nodded and walked out together. Above the starry sky, a stream of light flashed, and the two of them rapidly headed towards the northwest direction. Their speed was so fast that it was hard to recognize them. The star region's dense fog spread everywhere. After hurrying for many days, the Dawn Moon Tower Master suddenly stopped and said, "Brother Ning, please wait for a moment. A friend should be arriving soon." Ning Chen stopped and narrowed his eyes. "Senior Shinji? He will indeed come. However, the person in the future isn't him." The Dawn Moon Tower Master replied and looked ahead. "You know this person too. Your Highness, since you are here, show yourself." Just as she finished speaking, the void in the starry sky ahead stirred, and a heavenly ship appeared. On the heavenly ship, an elegant figure stood quietly with a crown on her head, and her black hair draped behind her back. She was dressed in men's clothing, and looked even more heroic. "Prince Qi." Ning Chen revealed a surprised expression. "Brother Ning, I didn't expect that we would meet again so soon." Lin Yuzhen took a step and flew to the front of the two of them with a smile. Ning Chen sighed softly in his heart. He really didn't expect that Prince Qi would come. Not long ago, Prince Qi asked him to attack the Qilin Pavilion together, but he clearly refused. As if she could feel what the person in front of her was thinking, Lin Yuzhen smiled and said, "Brother Ning, after I help you settle the grudge with the Heaven-Mending Pavilion, you can't shirk away from this prince's matter anymore." "Many thanks." Ning Chen bowed respectfully and thanked her. He couldn't forget this favor of helping him in his hour of need. "Your Highness Prince Qi, when are you going to pay back the wine money you owe at the Dawn Moon Tower?" The Dawn Moon Tower Master asked with a smile. Hearing this, Lin Yuzhen looked away and replied, "Tower Master, you asked this prince to help this time. This prince hasn't asked you for a reward yet. Treat the wine money as repayment." "Your Highness Prince Qi is really calculating. You obviously came to help because of Brother Ning. How can you give this favor to this Tower Master?" The Dawn Moon Tower Master smiled. "You can't say that." Lin Yuzhen smiled and said, "The one who asked this prince is the Tower Master. How can the Tower Master not pay any price?" "Heh." The Dawn Moon Tower Master smiled and said, "Then this Tower Master will suffer a loss this time. Your Highness, the wine money you owe will be forgiven." "Tower Master, when will Senior Shinji arrive? Will he be alone?" Ning Chen's face flashed with a trace of undetectable expectation as he asked. "He should be here soon." The Dawn Moon Tower Master replied and said, "Shinji promised to come, so he won't go back on his words. However, I don't know if there will be others coming with him." The expectation in Ning Chen's eyes gradually disappeared. Looking at the starry sky in the distance, he sighed in his heart. He hadn't seen that girl for 100 years. How was she? "Let's go. We'll continue on our way." Ning Chen quickly withdrew his thoughts and looked at the two of them. "Okay." Lin Yuzhen and the Dawn Moon Tower Master nodded and rushed forward together. In the vast starry sky, the three figures flashed like shooting stars. In the blink of an eye, they had disappeared into the depths of the starry sky. In the Butian secret realm, on an unusually ancient planet, the entire planet was covered by a formation. Runes circled around it, covering its vital energy. More than 10 days later, the three figures appeared outside the planet. Ning Chen looked at the green pearl in his hand that he had taken from the Butian Pavilion's Grand Elder, and said calmly, "This is the planet." The formation on this planet should have been set up by a 4th-level cultivator. Although it has been a long time, and is not as old as it used to be, it is still not easy to break. The Dawn Moon Tower Master spread out her divine sense, and scanned the formation on the planet in front of them. With Brother Ning's attainments in formations and restrictions, how long will it take to break this formation? Lin Yuzhen asked. 6 hours. Ning Chen told the truth. 6 hours is not long. Let's begin. As he spoke, the void cracked open, and a figure in purple walked out. Shinji. The Dawn Moon Tower Master looked over, and saw the person and the girl behind him. She said, "By you, long time no see." By you, the Venerable bowed respectfully and said politely, "Long time no see." In front of the ancient planet, Ning Chen stood quietly for a long time. He formed a seal with both hands, and the yellow spring restriction opened, sealing the ancient planet's protective formation. Millions of changes evolved in the divine restriction. Ningchen observed silently. After a long time, he dispersed the divine restriction and used the yellow spring to seal the ancient planet's protective formation again. In 6 hours, the formation had evolved tens of thousands of times. Ningchen observed the changes in the formation, memorizing them one by one. 6 hours later, he dispersed the last change in the formation and stepped forward. With a wave of his hand, Genesis Supreme appeared. With a slash of his sword, a phoenix appeared. The phoenix's cry shocked the world, and a majestic power crashed into the protective formation. The entire ancient planet rumbled and shook. The power of laws and extreme Tao clashed, and the undercurrent expanded rapidly. The Butian secret realm howled. Sword Qi rose out of nowhere within 10,000 miles. The sky darkened and the earth darkened. Not far away, the Dawn Moon House Master, Shinji, and the Reverence Moon Venerable all revealed serious expressions when they saw this. In just 6 hours, the 9th son of Mo Gate had actually managed to break through the Heaven-Mending Pavilion's sect-protecting formation. It was truly astonishing. In terms of formations and restrictions, this child did not lose to anyone. With the formation broken, the experts within the Butian secret realm found it hard to hide their shock. They all looked towards the starry sky in shock. In thousands of years, this was the first time someone dared to challenge the Butian Pavilion. Just who had the guts to do so? In the void, 5 figures appeared, each more powerful than the last. The 5 strongest people in the world had all arrived. They stood in the 9 heavens, and their terrifying auras surged. None of them were weaker than the people below. Their connected auras covered the sky and the sun, causing the entire world to darken. The 9th disciple of the Mo clan, the Dawn Moon Tower Master, Prince Qi and Shinji. Seeing the 4 people in the 9 heavens, the Butian Pavilion Master's expression shook, and then became serious. Those who came did not come with good intentions. With the 4 of them coming together, the Butian Pavilion would probably be in great trouble. Everyone, this matter started with me. Let me be the first one to break it. Ningchen walked out, his sword will rising. The winds and clouds on the Taisher sword changed. Layers and layers of sword will gathered rapidly. Thunder rumbled and covered the sky in a radius of 10,000 miles. Sword technique extreme heaven. The first sword emitted an extremely bright green light. The sword light was like a divine sun that illuminated the world. The battle began. The first sword's aura was incomparably majestic. On the ancient planet, the earth disintegrated for no reason. Large cracks appeared one after another, spreading horizontally and vertically. Within the Butian secret realm, many experts did not have time to react. Miserable cries rang out one after another, as they were affected by the sword light, and fell into the abyss, consigned to eternal damnation. After the first sword, the supreme elders within the Butian Pavilion reacted. Their figures flashed as they stood in the void. The surrounding true essence vibrated, and a powerful aura surged, shocking everyone. Shenji, House Master Xiaoyu, Prince Qi. Our pavilion has never interfered with each other. What is the meaning of today's action? The Butian Pavilion Master looked at the 3 people in front of him and asked, Pavilion Master, please do not blame us. Businessmen have their own principles. The 9th son of Mo Gate's offer is difficult for us to refuse. We cannot push this business out of the door. The House Master Xiaoyu revealed a smile and replied, Clang! With a violent vibration, a divine sword with purple light appeared in front of Shinji. Its dazzling brilliance rose and pierced through the heavens and earth. Without saying a word, it already expressed its attitude. Butian Pavilion ha! Lin Yuzhen sneered. The phoenix cry sword in her hand swept across. Although it was not unsheathed, the cry of a phoenix whistled through the sky, and the world within 10,000 li changed. Good, very good. The Butian Pavilion Master's expression became cold. Behind him powerful auras appeared. The supreme elders of the Butian Pavilion had appeared, and a great battle was about to break out. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.